Infinite projection room begins with the projection of Ultron's world destruction. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 526, Breaking Defense. Beedao and Ace. Who is who? Is Ace now Ace or Beedao? What is the state of one mind and one body? For Ace, he is Beedao and Beedao is also him. He has all the memories of Beedao, and Beedao also has all his memories. They have the same mind. Ace is Beedao, Beedao is Ace. Minami's is the regret in Beedao's heart, and also the regret of Ace. For Beedao, Minami's is the only one in the Tucker team who is willing to believe in him. Their previous feelings are constantly sublimated, and Ace is the witness of this process. So, the moment he saw Force behind Lizzie, the guillotine in Ace's hand almost didn't hold. Ace can only pray that Liz's amnesia in the end is a great success. As long as people are still there is always hope. Strange looked at Forst. He compared Forst with the Dark Giant who appeared in Nishijo Naja's memory and found that the two Dark Giants had many differences in details. Strange can only attribute it to the fact that Forst changed later. It can't get worse, right? The video continues. What's wrong with you? You're so reckless. Human, who was in a hurry to go out, bumped into Aishihiko who was coming in. Nothing, I'm leaving first. In the hospital, memory policeman Shuto Seiya was called here by his subordinates, who handed Shuto Seiya a test report. Interesting. Immunity Judgment 92. With this you can join the night raid team. Shuto Seiya continued to look at the data, and suddenly, her face became extremely shocked. The R7 sex factor in this data. Are you really not mistaken? Yes, these data are all accurate. Impossible. If there is no problem with the data, then Sir, Satoriko disappeared from the ward. What on earth is going to happen? You should finish your story. I'm so anxious. On the way, Human recalled the past with Rico. At Rico's house, the house was extremely dim, and there was almost no light. When a door was opened, Rico's younger brother came out to greet her. Looking at her parents and brother, Lizzie cried to them, but the lighting of the surrounding environment was a little wrong. It seems that we thought too much. Yes, it's an illusion. It was just an illusion yesterday. Looking at the happy family of four, they all thought it was just an illusion. Only Bruce looked at Lizzie at this moment, and his hair stood up. This is definitely wrong. Shuto Seiya found a message on the communication terminal, which was the information that the family of four had mysteriously disappeared for a year, and the eldest daughter of the family of four is called Sadie Lizzie. But at Liz's house, they were eating lunch happily together, and Liz's mother asked about her in common. We haven't seen each other much during this period, and it seems to be fine. No. Bruce finally caught the problem in Liz's words. They have met. Just a few days ago. They kissed in the woods of the hospital. That's right. Wanda held the sofa nervously. If I were Lizzie, I would never say that we haven't seen each other for a while. How can I forget that kind of memory? That kind of happy memory? Maybe Lizzie is embarrassed? Peter still tried to maintain his illusion. As a girl, I always have to be reserved, right? Then there's no need to say that we haven't seen each other for a while. You know, Lizzie is ready to introduce me to her family. But, shh, listen to it. Diana made a gesture of silence, asking everyone to calm down and listen to the background music at this moment. It was a creepy feeling. According to the habit of the screening room, once this background music comes out, nothing will happen, but something will happen. The image continues. Liko smiled and nodded. The light around her turned from bright to dim. A puzzled look appeared on Liko's face. Guman, who is that? In the empty house, Liko was the only one sitting on a table that had been covered with dust for a long time. The dust had stained her white dress. She had a confused and empty look in her eyes, a distorted and rotating picture, and an empty room. Who am I? Why am I here all alone? Where's mom? Liko looked around blankly. She couldn't help crying, but still had a faint smile on her face. Where's dad? Where did he go? I'm so scared. Where did everyone go? This is the show I can watch on the Good Morning Kids show at 6 in the morning. Just when Liko was about to collapse, the mirror behind her made a sound. The mirror that had been covered with dust for a long time was right behind Lizzie. Lizzie walked towards the mirror step by step. The girl in the mirror was no longer herself, but dark forced. Silence. Silence is the projection room at this moment. What happiness, what motivation. It's all fake. In the projection room, Peter broke the defense. In the projection room, a group of adults were collectively autistic. In the projection room, only Bruce was still trying to figure out the current situation. The video continues. Human came to the hospital to look for Lizzie, but was told by Shuto that Lizzie had completely disappeared. There was no hospital at home, let alone one. Faced with the stubborn Human, Shuto handed over the address of Lizzie's home. She thought that she should let Human know the truth. When Human drove there, he only saw the Dark Force about 3 meters high at the door. Dark, Ultraman, get out of the way. Faced with the Dark Force that could fight Nexus, Human did not show any fear. He pulled out a gun and pointed it at Dark Force's head. Get out of my way. Human. Lizzie, seeing that Human dared to face Dark Force who could kill him in an instant for Lizzie, Wanda, as a little girl, couldn't hold back and burst into tears. I cried too. This is not recklessness. This is courage. This is a courage to go forward, even if there are thousands of people against me. Dark Force released a suffocating sense of oppression. He looked down at Human and declared to Human in a cold voice, humans, you have no right to choose. What did you say? Everything is in vain. Accept the arrangement of fate and submit to me. Shut up. What did you do to Lizzie? Give Lizzie back to me. Lizzie? This woman is about to disappear. Dark Force calmly blocked Human's attack and sentenced Lizzie's future. Why don't you disappear together? Dark Flash. Because Lizzie's actor passed away, I planned to finish this chapter in one go, and then I was broken on the spot when I saw this. F***CK. Is this something I can watch on the Good Morning Kids show? You might as well let me watch Superman. Chapter 527. The Dark Flash was blocked by the light blue barrier. Goomen looked behind Dark Force in shock. It was Himiya-jun. We meet again, Ultraman. Dark Force turned and looked at Himiya-jun. Himiya-jun looked at this old silver coin-like opponent and quickly asked Goomen to leave. Leave quickly. Force is the enemy I want to deal with. The evolution thruster is unsheathed. Nexus, who is as tall as Force, appears. He first uses the invincible life barrier to block the Dark Flash of Dark Force and then cuts the form to open the field in one go. In the meter field, Nexus rolled to avoid the rain of darkness, but was accidentally seized by Dark Force and fell to the ground while dodging. I'm your shadow. Looking at Nexus, who was lying on the ground, Dark Force did not chase him, but said coldly, as long as you are still alive, I will not disappear. Dark Force charged his hands, and a skill similar to Nexus's Layered Storm finished reading. Dark Gabby Shattering Ray. Dark Gabby Shattering Ray, also known as Dark Ring, has the same power as Nexus's Layered Storm, but the duration is a bit shorter. Compared with a continuous output Layered Storm, it is the difference between a machine gun and a grenade. The power is the same, but the attack mode is different. Dark Gabby Shattering Ray hit Nexus, and Dark Force laughed loudly, but in the smoke, Nexus, who exuded a red breath, stood up. Nexus is completely fine. He didn't even have a red light. Dark Force thought Nexus was dead and was about to turn around and leave, but he didn't expect that Nexus, who was vulnerable in his mouth, was not only fine at this moment, but also had the strength to fight back. Cross Storm. Dark Force was careless this time. He didn't even launch a direct attack with the Dark Domain. He planned to take the initiative, but he didn't expect that the Meter Domain would enhance Nexus so much. Dark Force, who was severely hit by the Cross Storm with the Field Domain buff, ran directly. Even if Nexus turned into a red light again, he didn't dare to gamble. Seeing Dark Force running away, Nexus was exhausted and turned back into Himiya-jun. And Goomen ran all the way to Liz's house. Entering the door, countless paintings were posted on the walls, glass, and floor. Goomen looked at these paintings. Although he didn't understand the technical terms of those arts, he had a feeling that his sixth sense told him that these paintings were painted by Lizzie. But Goomen looked at the painting still on the easel. He couldn't see what the painting was about, but the empty eyes, huge mouth, and wrinkled skin all hinted that Gooman was not a good person. Is this also drawn by Lizzie? Lizzie's drawings are all about the same family. Yes. Gooman's mind echoed with the words he had talked to Lizzie in the zoo, but the paintings here. Gooman looked at the paintings with a tingling scalp, and even found an old acquaintance. Liquid alien beast, Pedron. Flower-shaped alien beast, Lavalier. Human sun value dropped wildly, and he shouted in disbelief, "This is not true. This is not true. Look at that." That was when Himia-jun obtained the light of Nexus, and fought the alien beast for the first time in the Dream of the Ruins. And that human face, isn't that dark forced? In other words, the alien beasts drawn here have all appeared, or are about to appear. I have a more deadly guess. Liz's shoulder was bleeding profusely. She walked around in a forest in confusion, constantly asking the voice in her mind, "Who am I? Tell me who I am." "You are no one." "What?" "That's right, you are just a puppet, because you died a long time ago." "I'm already dead." The grey and white memory fragments were used in my mind. It was a night with heavy rain. A family of 4 was driving on the road, and suddenly, the car stopped. A giant monster like a mouse blocked the middle of the road. Regeneration alien beast Northfield. Run. Lizzie's father helped Lizzie escape from the vehicle, but the next second, Northfield's huge claws tore the car body, and the car exploded. Lizzie's mother and brother, who were still in the car, died in the sea of fire. Lizzie's father wanted to go over to help, but the next second, a huge claw mercilessly tore Lizzie's father's body, blood splattered, and the body shattered. At this moment, a member of the night raid team ran over, and Lizzie helplessly asked him for help. The member of the night raid team raised the gun in his hand, but the muzzle was not pointing at the alien beast Northfield, but Lizzie. The last memory was the strong light from the muzzle. Is this what I can see in Ultraman? So, why did the night raid team shoot at Lizzie? Remember that Goroki? That man is the key to the birth of all this. On the night raid team dam, Nishijo Naji ran over. When she saw the man on the dam, she immediately raised her gun and aimed at him. "You are still alive, Mizuroki Shinaya. I'm back, Naji. Oh my god, what is going on? Let me sort it out." Bruce felt that he had almost understood it. First of all, on the timeline, Rico and Koto's first meeting should have been half a year ago, and Rico should have been fine at that time. During this half year, Mizuroki attacked Rico, but he should have mastered some kind of ability to bring people back to life. No, it's better to say that he was made into a doll than to say that he was resurrected from the dead. The dark giant that Mizuroki turned into in Naji Nishijo's memory did not look the same as Dark Forced. Now we can basically rule out the possibility that Mizuroki is Dark Forced and that Naji Nishijo's memory is wrong. The rest, that is to say, the appearance of the dark giant requires a human body or a fit person. Just like Nexus. But they obviously won't construct dreams specifically to select fit people like Nexus, but will directly kill people and take over their bodies. So, that's why the tragedy in our memory happened. What about the story between Rico and Koto? Is it also fake? Was it all manipulated by Goroki? No, I guess this is true. Chapter 528 Games in False Order. Most of the time, Lizzie obviously has self-awareness. And at this time, it is Lizzie's consciousness that is dominant. Lizzie is usually in a false illusion at home, but her feelings for Koto should be real. However, the dark giant's personality, the forced personality, has absolute control over it, and can even erase Lizzie's personality. The image continues. It's been a year since we last met, Naji. The man in the black windbreaker walked towards Nishijo. Naji, I've always been looking forward to meeting you. Are you kidding? What a scary look. Goroki commented calmly, it's the same look you gave the man named Himiya. Don't treat us to the same. Naji, I'm in your heart. Nishijo. Naji interrupted Goroki directly, with the gun in her hand pointing at Goroki's chest, even though it was useless. Goroki, what are you doing? I'm playing a game. Game. Yes, I'm into this game now. Asshole. Logan crushed the cup in his hand. You actually treat other people's lives and other people's future as a game. I'm afraid that Goroki is coming for common. Peter suddenly said, maybe, Goroki didn't just find someone randomly, but chose Lizzie. And the reason for choosing Lizzie is common. Why? Komoto is very special. What's special about him? I don't know, but I only know that he is very special. It should be the information told to you by the Light of Noah? Yeah. Peter nodded. The Light of Noah contains the information of the fittest people of all generations, and Kumonto is one of them. Could it be that he knew that Kumonto has the qualifications to become a fit person, so he specifically found Kumonto and wanted to drag him into the darkness? Video continues. What's wrong? Why don't you shoot? Goroki looked at Nishijo Naji, who raised the gun but did not shoot, and directly provoked, since you don't shoot, then I'll leave. Just as Goroki turned to leave, Nishijo Naji pulled the trigger. The bullet flew out of the gun, but was easily blocked by Goroki. That's more like my companion. Garumi smiled coldly and counterattacked with a black energy. When Nishijo Naji dodged, Goroki had disappeared. In Liz's house, Common looked at the broken photo frame on the ground, and at this moment, a dark liquid instantly climbed onto Common's body and quickly engulfed Common's body. Fuck. What is that? Parasitic alien beast. Common was parasitized by an alien beast. What? A large number of memories instantly appeared in Common's mind, and those memories were exactly the memories of Liz's family being attacked by alien beasts. Rebroadcast point JPG. When Common woke up from those horrible memories, the communicator in his hand had already displayed the order information of emergency assembly. Common could only rush to the assembly point, but on the way, the voice of Dark Force appeared in Common's mind. Because of you, Satoriko will disappear. Who are you? It's all because of meeting you that Satoriko's family has all disappeared, and now, even that woman herself. Shut up. These are all lies. Lies. Because of Common. Sure enough, Common is the next adapted person. No, it can only be said that Common has the potential to become an adapted person. The adapted person is not fixed. Everyone can become an adapted person, and Common is just the most likely one. Garumi's purpose is very clear, that is to go against Noah's light, and if that's the case, it's obviously much easier to attack the adapted person directly than to fight directly against the powerful Nexus. Fall. Peter said, I guess Goroki's purpose is to make Common fall into darkness, or kill him. Facing Himiya-jun, who has firm beliefs, Goroki cannot lure him into fall, and can only consume Himiya-jun's physical strength through continuous attacks by alien beasts. For Common, making him fall is obviously a better choice. The night raid team rushed into a warehouse, and the alien beast vibration wave was emitted from there, but when they opened the door, there was only an uncle shivering here. The night raid team searched for a while, but only found a signal transmitter. When the signal transmitter was discovered, even the psychic Kira Azoyu thought it was just a scam, but Captain Hekura grabbed the man by the collar and shouted, tell me, who gave you this thing? I really don't know. The man was almost scared to tears, but Captain Hekura still grabbed the man by the collar. Hurry up. Do you think you can hide it from me? You are worthy of it, Captain Hekura. After making sure that his acting skills could not deceive Captain Hekura, the man changed his face in an instant. The fear and helplessness before disappeared without a trace in an instant. The man laughed out loud. You are very angry for being deceived, Captain Hekura. Am I scary like this? Garumi. Captain Hekura pressed the man against the wall, and the other team members raised their guns and aimed at the man, but this time the man returned to his previous frightened look. Thinking back to what Goroki had done, Captain Kura said to himself, what on earth is this bastard trying to do? Game. Hearing what Nishijo Naji said, Captain Kura repeated Nishijo Naji's answer in confusion. Game. Goroki is having a good time watching our anger and fear, and at this moment, Common encountered an unmanned bus on the highway. Just like the first time he encountered the alien beast, even the color and the way it stopped were the same. Common went forward to check, but only found a family photo of 4 people, just like Liz's. At this moment, Common was walking into the darkness step by step. His inner self-blame, fear and pain were guided out little by little. He recalled what Nishijo Naji, the night raid team, and the memory police had said to him. The life of a loved one was suddenly taken away, and the truth of the matter was buried in the darkness. Isn't this too much? Rather than considering whether it is excessive or not, it is more important to maintain the stability of order. The bus here has been treated as a cliff fall. No. I don't want to fight to maintain this hypocritical order. At this moment, a roar sounded. Liquid alien beast, Pedron. Chapter 529 Liz's identity. Which is more important, order or truth? In response to Peter's question, Bruce replied, if I were a senior executive of the Night Raid team, I would definitely continue, and even implement stricter regulatory policies to ensure that the news of the alien beasts would not be known to ordinary people. Order is more important than truth and freedom. Even a bad order is better than no order. I support Bruce. Besides, what good would it be if ordinary people really knew about the existence of alien beasts? Panic all day long, cults everywhere, or something worse? Ignorance is sometimes really a kind of happiness. The video continues. In a shining spaceship, Himia-jun is Kryptonian healing inside. No, common. Himia-jun, who was originally in a sleeping state, suddenly opened his eyes. Don't be dominated by anger. Don't be dominated by anger. Hikari looked at Common on the screen, who went directly into the forest to chase the alien beasts because of anger, and couldn't help but think of himself who turned into a hunter knight sword because of the destruction of the planet Arbo. Father Ultra once said that as a warrior, his mind is too delicate. This is a common problem for all smart people. Blue is a melancholy color. As a member of the Blue Clan, and one of the smartest people in the Blue Clan, Hikari knows that it is easy for him to think too much. Once he thinks too much, he will be very painful. At this moment, Guman is in another form. Maybe he doesn't think so much, but someone will tell him things he can't think of, or even worse, because other people's words, even if they are true, can also achieve the effect of lies when combined. In the forest, Guman's face showed a ferocious look. He raised his gun and looked around, roaring angrily, aliens, you are going to harm innocent people again. Before that, I will destroy all of you. All disappear. Quickly disappear from this world. The forest around Guman began to change, and a negative energy that could not be detected by the human eye enveloped the place. Just when Guman himself was about to be enveloped by the negative energy, Himia-jun's voice awakened Guman above. Human, wake up. Mr. Himia. Looking at Himia-jun, Human seemed to see a beam of light in the endless darkness, and the light brought Human, who was trapped in the darkness, out of the negative energy quagmire built by anger. You are possessed by a kind of alien beast, which specializes in absorbing human anger and hatred, and then makes people hallucinate. Hallucination. Human looked around, and all the Pedrons before disappeared. They were all hallucinations. You may be targeted by someone. By whom? I don't know. Himia-jun shook his head. How could he know this? Human. Lizzie. Looking at Lizzie in a white dress, Human instantly threw the alien beast and possession behind his mind. Now he saw Lizzie appear, and Lizzie was fine, which was the best thing. Great, I thought you were killed. Perhaps, Ultraman's chats are also emotionally intelligent. Lizzie slowly pushed away Common's hand, and the indifference in her eyes made Common dare not recognize her. They have been killed. My family and I were all killed because of you, Common. It's all because of me? Killing someone and destroying their heart. This is to kill someone and destroy their heart. Is this a modification of the memory, or? I'm afraid it's true. I guess, if Common's identity is the next fit person, then it's not surprising that Goroki, as the opposite of light, wants to drag Common, who is a fit person, into darkness. Didn't I just say that? Lizzie had a layer of dark circles under her eyes, a pale face, and pale red and dry lips. She looked expressionless like a corpse. I was killed, because I met you. The face of Dark Force flashed across Lizzie's face. This time, Guman clearly saw Force appearing on Lizzie's body. He was frightened and retreated again and again, but Force did not intend to let him go. He continued to manipulate Lizzie to say those murderous words. I have become a puppet, being manipulated by others. Lizzie, I am forced. The purple light lit up, and Forced's personality took the upper hand. It seemed that a line of tears slid down his cheeks. This time, the two red stripes on Forced's face were particularly conspicuous, like two bloody tears falling. At this moment, the dark giant Forced has completely stopped acting. It is the endless darkness that can devour light. Then let me break your darkness. The evolution thruster was unsheathed, and the giants of light and darkness appeared in the forest at the same time. In the distance, Goroki said with a smile, The death game has finally begun. Without the buff of the Dark Domain, Dark Force has no upper hand in attributes. Nexus rushed forward and tried to lock Dark Force's left arm, but was resolved by Dark Force. However, facing the next attack of Dark Force, Nexus once again locked Dark Force with a grab and then threw it away to make it lose its center of gravity. With a wave of his left arm, he switched to the Red Youth form and then the familiar Meta Domain. Why is the Meta Domain open again? Logan was anxious. Every time you open it, you'll be contaminated. The opponent doesn't have a domain type skill, or you can let the opponent open it first and then infect yourself in reverse. No, if you don't open the domain, it will cause damage to the earth, even in the forest. A random ray of light attack may cause a forest fire, and a roll will crush countless trees. How do you explain this? Even if you don't consider these, the vibrations generated by the giants fighting, and the possibility of being seen by ordinary people, these must be taken into account. Sure enough, the Beta Domain was instantly contaminated and turned into a Dark Domain. In the aftermath of the expansion of the Dark Domain, Goomen was also involved. As soon as Goomen came in, he saw two giants fighting each other. The fists of both sides hit each other's faces, and then Dark Force and Nexus fell one after another. Taking advantage of Nexus's unpreparedness, Dark Force punched Nexus into the air, but Nexus in the air forced himself to stabilize his body, then kicked down and immediately used the cutting ray to counterattack. But the next second, Dark Force hid in front of Goomen. Chapter 530, Transforming Darkness into Light. Seeing Nexus not daring to attack because of Common behind him, Dark Force's hoarse voice echoed in the Dark Realm, "You are still too fragile." The Dark Flash instantly hits the energy indicator light on Nexus' chest and then rushes up to lock Nexus' throat with his arm. "Today, I must defeat you and make you a part of my body." Ha 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 ha. Energy in Nexus' body is extracted and polluted by Dark Force and turned into dark energy and poured into his body. Light is dazzling, but it can also be swallowed by darkness, just like Common's heart at this moment. Common's heart is unwilling to accept that Lizzie is dead, and he is even more unwilling to accept that the dark giant in front of him who can swallow the Ultra Warrior who saved his life is Lizzie. Common's mind emerges the scene when he and Lizzie first met. That day, he went to the zoo to relax in a state of distraught. It was autumn that day, the wind was blowing, the dead leaves were flying, and a girl's painting was flying all over the sky. That was the first time he met Lizzie. "Stop it, Lizzie." Soon, summer came, and he was transferred to the night attack team, but the work was not going well. It was Lizzie who encouraged him and gave him the courage to move forward. Dark Force laughed wildly and absorbed Nexus's life energy. Nexus, who had already been exhausted, started to flash the life energy indicator on his chest in just a moment. "Stop it, Lizzie." Midsummer, lakeside, under the tree, Lonely Gate, Lizzie, kiss. The bullet landed on Dark Force's face, on Dark Force's red stripes. Lost, on blood and tears. "Stop it." Under the light and shadow, this face seemed to be split into two, with blood and tears flowing in the darkness, and only a golden scratch under the light. "Lizzie, what are you doing?" Garoki, who was watching the show, was unhappy. "Hurry up and take away the light of the Ultra Warrior." Dark Force slowly loosened his throat. Nexus fell down, and Force looked at Common and called out his name. "Common-kun." "Lizzie." This time, it was not Dark Force's voice, but Lizzie. "Lizzie." Great. Seeing that Lizzie's remaining consciousness finally prevailed, Peter and Wanda finally breathed a sigh of relief. At this moment, lightning flashed in the dark field, and a brand new alien beast appeared here. That was the alien beast that appeared in Lizzie's memory and killed Lizzie's family. Demon type alien beast Northfield. If you still have human memories, then this is fine. Gorky slowly put down his left hand. Yes, as a dark giant, he can not only summon alien beasts, but also has much higher authority than Forced. "Garumi, you jerk. It's that alien beast." Human recognized Northfield, the murderer who killed Lizzie's family. Seeing this, Nexus desperately squeezed out the last bit of energy in his body and shot out a feather of particles, but the extremely weak Nexus could not protect himself, and faced with the powerful Northfield, he had no strength. "That guy's useless. Kill him." With Goroka's order, Northfield immediately took action and swung his huge claws at Common. After the violent shaking, the severe pain that Common expected did not happen, but he was still conscious. Could it be that he was not dead? Someone saved me. Was it Mr. Himir? Human slowly opened his eyes. When he saw the person blocking his body, Common and Goroki, who was watching the battle outside, showed the same shocked expression. Dark Force? No, it was Lizzie. A huge wound was cut open on the back of Dark Force. That place was originally hit by Nexus's cross storm, and now it was hit so hard again. Countless golden light particles poured out from it. Darkness. No, it is no longer the Dark Giant. Force now is dominated by Liz's consciousness. Since light can be polluted by darkness, then darkness can naturally be purified by light. Now she is light. No, Lizzie has always been light, the light in Guman's life, the important light in Guman's life. Lizzie lowered her head. Forced's pupils were still black, but Guman saw Lizzie's light in the black pupils. Lizzie looked at Guman, and the black energy indicator light on its chest also lit up. The Dark Giant is a replica of Nexus. If the light on the chest lights up, then it is on the same path as Nexus. That is, it is on the verge of death. Nexus was injured, but Forced was not much better than Nexus, and there was a wound on his shoulder, caused by the cross storm. Lizzie regained consciousness, but she could not fight. She could not use the Dark Flash or the Dark Rain. But she could block, so she used her body to block the claws of Northfield. This time, Lizzie finally protected the one she loved from the alien beast. If you are a man, you should become strong for others. The same is true for women. Just watching will not change anything. Northfield kicked Forced away. When he raised his claws again, Nexus finally recovered some physical strength. He rushed over, and the Nexus-armed energy on his arm gathered to shatter Northfield's left claw, and then threw it out. Cross storm. Northfield was knocked down and exploded, but because of insufficient energy, Nexus did not use a stronger layered storm this time. In fact, he had not released a layered storm for a long time. Even the power of the cross storm was insufficient. Northfield was only knocked down and exploded, but it was not completely purified. Peter. Logan poked Peter with his arm and asked in a low voice, "The Dark Giant is different from Nexus. The light is on, so it should be okay, right?" Logan wanted to slap himself after saying this. He didn't even need to ask this question. The Dark Giant's injuries will be reflected back to the human body. The ankle scratched by the feather of the light particle and the shoulder injured by the cross storm have not healed yet. If that claw went down, the injury would be directly cut off the aorta if it was a human. Lizzie doesn't have her own self-healing ability, so he doesn't even need to think about what will happen next. Or rather, he doesn't even want to think about it. Chapter 531 Big Bang Hypothesis. The video continues. Lizzie. The Dark Realm disappeared because of the fall of the two giants. In the forest under the setting sun, Guman's anxious voice echoed. He held Lizzie in his arms and kept calling Lizzie's name, trying to wake Lizzie up. The rescue has not arrived. If Lizzie falls asleep, it is hard to say whether Lizzie can be saved. Lizzie's eyes slowly opened. This time, Guman saw a familiar light in Lizzie's eyes. He knew that the familiar Lizzie was back. Guman. Lizzie smiled. Although she knew that she was about to die, she did not choose to be sad, but chose to accompany her lover in the last time with her most beautiful appearance. I don't regret it. I don't regret meeting Guman. Lizzie slowly stretched out her hand, and Guman took Lizzie's hand. At this moment, the hands no longer had the warmth of the past. I've always wanted to draw a picture for Guman. Guman, who works hard to protect others, is really great. I want to draw this kind of Guman and show it to others. It was my own choice to fall in love with Guman. I still have a lot to say to you. Me too. Guman held Lizzie's hand tightly. He tried not to let himself cry. He insisted that Lizzie could still be saved, but his next words revealed his heart. I still have a lot to say to Lizzie. I'm sorry. Lizzie slowly closed her eyes and did not open them, even when Guman called her. The only luck was that she left with a smile in the arms of her lover. Golden light shone from Lizzie. She was born as darkness, but turned into light. Even if she was polluted by darkness and turned into a doll, she could turn into light when she died. This may be the last tenderness of the world for Guman and Lizzie. At this moment, Peter finally accepted one thing, that is, the story of Nexus may not be as beautiful as he imagined. And the thing that frightened him also happened. The light he accepted was the light of Noah. If alien beasts appeared in his world, and he became next, then, will there be people like Goroki? Then, will Aunt May, Harry, Gwen? For the first time, Peter truly realized what he needed to bear and carry to become the light. This is not a superhero game. The villains will not wait foolishly for him to defeat them all day long. They are cunning and treacherous, and will even attack the people around them. If I become Ultraman to protect the world, but if I can't even protect the people around me, my family and friends, what's the point of protecting the world? The video continues. Yokira Azora looks at a huge pool and the light in it, and says to Commander Matsunaga beside him, as long as I look at this light, I feel relieved. It's as if I'm listening to the whispers of particles, and my heart is calm. This light is changing the fate of the earth to a great extent. Who would believe you if you said that? Yokira Azora did not directly respond to Commander Matsunaga's words, but asked back. They are also paying attention to the matter of Satoriko. It was a rhetorical question, but the tone seemed to have known about it. They? Are you referring to the visitors? They? Who are the visitors? Hearing the appearance of a new term, everyone said that the pace was a bit too fast. They had not yet crawled out of Rico's knife, and were given another problem. Visitors. Visitors? Night Raid is for dealing with monsters like alien beasts, and Night Raid is a global organization. Tony guessed. Their status is temporarily equal to the combination of SHIELD, SHIELD, and SWORD. If they can be called visitors by such an organization, then they must be aliens. I remember. Hikaru suddenly said. Since Peter obtained the light, I went back and read a lot of information. Among them, there was a record in a book, written a long time ago, on an ancient planet. There was a monster that relied on absorbing fear to become stronger and evolve. The mysterious god of light rewarded and saved the planet from fire and water. Later, in order to commemorate the god of light and to guard against the reappearance of that fear monster, that planet imitated the god of light and built a defense robot. Didn't you tell us this story? Yes. Hikaru nodded. It was during the Infinite Ultron. Peter hadn't come in that time. The focus is on the following content. Later, the defense robots went berserk, and the people on that ancient planet had to detonate their own planet and perish with it, and the people on that planet also became interstellar refugees. Does this plot look familiar to you? Fear monsters, alien beasts. Then, the god of light is naturally Noah. What about the robots? I don't know. Maybe. Hikari looked at the screen. Maybe the visitors are that group of interstellar refugees. But the timeline doesn't match. Loki is sensitive to timelines. He retorted. The story you told is so old. You are more than 10,000 years old. For you, a long time ago must be at least 100,000 years old. If the Earth had developed to this point 100,000 years ago, is it possible that the current Earth has basically made no progress in the past 100,000 years? Different universes also have different developments. Dr. Manhattan, who had not spoken for a long time, put forward his own guess. In the Kingdom of Light universe, the story of that group of interstellar refugees may have happened hundreds of thousands or even millions of years ago, but in another universe, perhaps it developed synchronously with the Earth. And there has never been an Ultraman from the Land of Light in that universe. I think that is a completely different world from the Land of Light universe. It is also possible that there are some space-time wave holes caused by the explosion of the planet. As a combatant, Ace has fought countless battles of all sizes, and has also seen alien demons such as the Yabo people. He has a unique insight into explosions. Maybe it is a characteristic of our universe. In our universe, if the energy is sufficient, there is a high probability that a black hole or a wormhole will be created during the explosion. The energy generated by detonating a planet can definitely create a wormhole. Perhaps it is this wormhole that brought the interstellar immigrants and alien beast genes of that planet to another universe. Chapter 532 Dream. Hikari nodded after hearing this. If that was the case, then it would not be difficult to explain why there were legends about that planet in his own world, but no refugees from that planet had ever been seen. Wait. Ace suddenly thought of something. Could this be the reason why Billia didn't die in the Big Bang? In other words, Belia was likely blown to another universe by the Big Bang. I still can't understand why the Big Bang would lead to the connection of two universes. The spatial environment of the monster cemetery is relatively thin, and the surrounding space-time turbulence is not stable. Moreover, it is said that the monster cemetery has not existed since ancient times. With this statement, everything seems to be starting to make sense. As for the explosion leading to the passage of universes, you don't need to understand too much about the things in our Ultraman world. Image continues. In the zoo, Common is sitting on a bench, and a person's shadow is stretched long by the light. His family called him, and happened to ask about Lizzie. Common hesitated for a moment, and finally just left a sentence that he might go back to his hometown recently, and then hung up the phone. At this moment in the combat command room, Captain Hecura was explaining the new Chester formation to the team members. Mega Cannon Chester. In simple terms, it is to combine the Mega Cannon on the beta and the meter field generator on the gamma to improve combat effectiveness. Because of the continuous evolution of the alien beasts, the Night Raid team must also constantly change its tactics. After the meeting, Captain Kazukura took the initiative to talk to Seijo Nagi about Common's situation. Kumono is not in working condition right now. I'll let him rest for a few days. Is it a vacation? Hearing the slightly puzzled tone of Nishijo Nagi, Captain Hecura patiently explained, Nagi, not everyone has a strong heart. It takes time for some people to get out of the abyss of grief. Garumo took advantage of his fragile heart. But, Captain Hecura's tone became more serious. Whether Garumo is related to the Satoriko incident remains to be investigated. So, I want to ask Team Common. Seeing Captain Hecura's eyes, that you are a bit too much, Nishijo Nagi had to say the second half of the sentence, and, I also want to help Team Common. It seems that the Night Raid team also accepted Common. Yes, it may be, because they have seen Common's growth. In the Wings of Stone, Himiya-jun was having a nightmare, while Krypton Life Recovery, the light on his body, became stronger and stronger, but his injuries became more and more serious. In the zoo, Gumen looked at the amulet given by Lizzie in his hand, feeling sad. Suddenly, he seemed to hear someone calling Lizzie's voice. It turned out that it was a family visiting the zoo, including a father, a mother, a brother and a little sister. The family wanted to take a photo together. Seeing Gumen standing there in a daze, they asked Gumen to help them take a photo. Although Gumen felt like he was pierced by thousands of arrows, he still agreed. After helping, Gumen remembered the conversation that Lizzie had had with him. He wanted Lizzie to introduce her family to him. As a result, when he thought of this, Lizzie's words appeared in his ears. I want to introduce you, but I can't. It's all because of you. Everyone is dead. Gumen turned around in shock. Lizzie was really here. Lizzie? This, a ghost? No, it's an illusion. Lizzie can't say such a thing. That's right, the light around this Lizzie's body is obviously much dimmer. It's fake. Lizzie walked away, and Gumen followed her. The two memory policemen who were watching on the side looked at each other, thinking about whether they should just delete this buddy's memory. That's what they said, but the people who should be protected still need to be protected. These two memory policemen were sent to protect Gumen. After all, Gumen is a regular member of the Night Raid team and his mental state is extremely unstable. Gumen chased Lizzie's illusion to a forest. Before Gumen could catch his breath, Lizzie appeared in the forest. One day half a year ago, a whole family was killed. It was another scene of Northfield killing Lizzie's family. This is considered a 3-time victory. It was the night when I met you, Common. Hear that our whole family was killed. All this is because of you. After saying that, Riko's body disappeared into thin air. Komatsu ran over breathlessly and immediately heard someone calling his name. Komatsu Aki, as expected, the weaker the heart, the easier it is to be hooked. The man who called out Common's name walked up to Common and said to him, I'm Goroki Shinaya, your enemy. Seishin Riko is just a puppet I control. You killed Riko. Isn't it fun to watch you guys perform this love drama? Are you kidding me? Komatsu, whose head was filled with anger, went straight forward to fight with Goroki, but was firmly controlled by the other party. Compared with Goroki, Common was too weak. Physical fitness. Goroki is a dark giant adapter, and the power displayed by Himiyajun as an adapter. Goroki also has it. Fighting skills. Goroki, as the former vice captain of the Night Raid team, is more relaxed when facing Common, who has such a long pre-attack swing, than when Bilia beat Taro. In terms of mentality, one has already turned black, and there is no need to say more about his mentality. The other is filled with anger, and even if they have similar fighting skills, they should be a mess. After being easily defeated by Goroki again and again, Common still tried to fight back, but the impatient Goroki showed his special ability as a dark giant adapter at this moment. A dark blue light flashed in his pupils and hypnotized Common, and then pulled Common, and jumped into a different space. The two memory police were stunned. Fuck, can you still play like this? When you write a report later, do you believe that there is really a living person disappearing in front of you? Human was brought to a closed space by Goroki. Turning his head, he found that this seemed to be the Dark Meter realm. At this time, Lizzie appeared again. Human, you are here. I'm so happy. Lizzie took Human's hand and went through the space directly to Lizzie's studio. You were weird just now. Are you dreaming? Dream? Human looked at everything around him. It was as beautiful as a dream. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 533 Demon. Gooman was dragged to the living room by Lizzie, and Lizzie introduced him to Gooman. Dad, Mom, this is the Gooman I told you about. As Lizzie looked, there was no Lizzie's father and mother, only two skeletons. But Gooman was unaware, and immediately bowed to the two bodies that had rotted to the point that only bones were left. The next second, the light was dim, and Lizzie's body once again drifted away with the wind. Gooman was confused and looked for Lizzie's figure, but saw Lizzie lying in the forest in a white dress. Gooman, who was in the illusion, had no ability to distinguish at all. He immediately rushed over and hugged Lizzie. Lizzie slowly stretched out her hand, said sorry to him, and then closed her eyes again. No, Gooman, it's impossible to indulge in darkness. In the Wings of Stone, Ji-Yajin sensed Gooman's crisis. At this moment, Ji-Yajin was Krypton life recovery in the Wings of Stone. In this situation, Ji-Yajin was still worried about Gooman like an old father. On the other side, Nishijo Naji, who had changed into casual clothes, had just arrived at the zoo when she received a message from two memory policemen. At this moment, Common was holding a few broken plastic dolls in a dim space and calling out Liz's name. When Common held up the head of a plastic doll, his face was already full of tears. But at this moment, a fist came and knocked Common away. Common turned his head and saw that it was his teammate of the Night Raid team. Listening to the heartbreaking words of his teammates, Common's heart was one step closer to collapse. And Commander Matsunaga and Kira Azoyu were still discussing by the pool at this moment. So, Goroki Shinai could also predict in advance that Common would become a member of the Night Raid team, right? Do you know the sadness of the Cyclops? Is it a monster in ancient mythology? It is a poor monster that is endowed with the ability to predict the future and can even foresee its own death. All of this began after this light shone on the earth. At that time, as the assistant to the deputy director of the Cabinet Intelligence Research Office, I was appointed as the manager of the TLT Japan branch, but even I was not sure how much I knew about the truth, such as the information of the visitors. Do you want to know everything? Kira Azoyu turned his head to look at Matsunaga, but Matsunaga smiled and refused him. No, even if you know the truth, your memory will be erased immediately. But at this rate, the Sea of Oblivion will always be discovered by someone. I don't know if the opening of the River of Oblivion is a good thing. The Cyclops who can predict the future? This myth is not important. I guess Kira Azoyu is referring to himself. If he really has the ability to predict his own death in the future. Remember the person who came out to guide the victory team, to rescue Tigger at the end of the story of Tigger, and finally turned into light. Are you talking about the prophet named Kirino? Yes, Kirino has been afraid of his special power since he was a child. Later, under the influence of Deiko, he finally let go of everything. Maybe in their eyes, Some things are different from ours. The video continues. All of this started after this light shone on the Earth. In the M80 Scorpius globular cluster 28,000 light years away from the Earth, a supernova explosion occurred. When this light reached the Earth, alien beasts also appeared. The activities of alien beasts are vibration waves emitted from their bodies, which react with special neutrinos released from the debris of the supernova explosion. Supernova explosion? Could it be that a supernova explosion cannot destroy the runaway man-made machine? This is not impossible. Don't forget that the power of the Ultra bomb used by Taro in the Ultra Galaxy legend is not inferior to that of a supernova explosion, and it is almost the same. But Belia took that blow head on. So, is Belia stronger than the robot built according to Noah's original purpose? The stacking box method is not advisable. Nagi, you're here too. In the zoo, Najina Shijo, who came to look for Common, heard Mizuroki's voice. It's interesting to see humans being crippled. Why did you do this to him? I have obtained a powerful force, the power of the demon Mephisto. With this power, I can play all of you in the palm of my hand. Why did you do this? I did this because of you, Nagi. Me. Stop kidding. What I said is true. You are qualified. Common is just a tool to make you realize this. Human has collapsed under multiple mental attacks. He keeps denying himself. The environment around him keeps changing, and finally he comes to the dark realm. The parasitic alien beast once again climbs onto his body. As he denies himself again and again, the darkness gradually engulfs him. Don't be bound by the darkness, human. Golden light blooms in the dark realm. A sacred giant stands in front of the person who has fallen into the abyss of darkness, leading him out of the darkness. Human looked up blankly. At this moment, he seemed to see God. Don't lose the light in your heart, human. The golden juvenile form of Nexus raises his arms high, and light particles are released from his body, purifying the dark realm, and turning it back into the Meta realm. Let's stop the phase interference. Garumi began to exert his strength to expel the light in the dark realm. After a space fluctuation, Common was thrown back to the real world. Seeing the depressed Common, Nishijo Nagi gave him an ultra personality correction slap. After a lot of persuasion, Common finally plucked up the courage to return to the team. Common was able to return to the team, and the gratitude of the family of 4 who had asked him to take pictures before also provided a great help. It was late at night, and a family of 4 was driving on the road. Suddenly, the illusion of Lizzie flashed by. Fuck, don't. This scene seems familiar. Why did I see Lizzie's face flash by just now? Illusion? No, it's really Lizzie. Look, it's that big rat-like monster again. The demon-type monster Northfield. Wasn't this guy killed by the cross storm? No, that time Nexus was not powerful enough, and the cross storm just blew it up without purifying it. Northfield walked on the road, raising the claws in his hand high, and then lowering them. The picture froze at this moment. Chapter 534. Don't be picky. The video continues the next second. 2 children appeared on the bed. Brother. The girl woke up her brother, and the boy was a little confused. What happened? The girl told him that when she woke up, she was already here, and her parents were in the kitchen. But they look so strange. The boy walked towards the kitchen with his sister. At this moment, the kitchen was full of sawdust, and the 2 adults were squatting at the table, not knowing what they were doing. You are here, come and eat. Seeing the 2 children coming, the mother greeted them happily, and Garomu outside the house nodded, and left with satisfaction. Fuck, this is too weird. Garumi, this is GZZ. Sawdust, gnawing, mouse. Wayne thought of something, and his face suddenly turned pale. He couldn't bear to watch this scene. Grinding teeth? What's wrong, Bruce? Are you okay? No, I just thought of some bad things. But Bruce's words have been heard by many people. There is no shortage of smart people here, and smart people generally have good associative ability. The previous demon-type alien beast, Northfield, looked a bit like a mouse. After watching Nexter, they knew that the ancestor of the alien beasts, the One, had the ability to possess and fuse. Since the remaining alien beasts are all descendants of the One, it is not surprising that some of the descendants have reverted to their ancestors and gained the abilities of their ancestors. The video continues. Coordinates 274. Although it is very weak, it can be confirmed that it is the same as the vibration wave of the previous alien beast. In order to find out the situation, Chester Alpha will go to investigate first. Karura Zoryu immediately passed the information, and then Common and Seijo Naji went together. Common sat in the driver's seat and said that he would never allow the alien beasts to harm that family. This speech filled with hatred was recognized by Seijo Naji. That's it. Turn your hatred into strength. Then Vice Captain, why do you hate the alien beasts? When asked by Common, Nishijo Naji was stunned for a moment and then said, the person I love was killed by the alien beasts. Okay, let's go. Alpha flew towards the place where the alien beast vibration wave was emitted, and in a forest, a wild Himiya-jun appeared. The refreshed Himiya-jun was rushing to the place where the alien beast appeared. By the way, can't we just fly there now that we have stone wings? Why? A purple light came, and Himiya-jun rolled sideways to avoid it. Why do you fight? No one knows about the scars. What are you fighting for? Faced with the enemy's attack and questioning, Himiya-jun did not answer. It's meaningless to continue fighting so alone. Garumi appeared in the forest and appeared in front of Himiya-jun. A family of 4 lived in a cabin in the forest. In the restaurant, the mother was distributing dinner. She put a thick wooden stick on the plate, but her hand was a little strange. But the mother didn't care about the strangeness of her hand, but asked with a smile, what's wrong with you two? Why are you so strange? The 2 children were stunned, but the next second, a more terrifying scene appeared. Their parents actually held the wooden sticks and gnawed them in front of them, and sawdust kept slipping out of their mouths. The brother finally couldn't stand it and grabbed the sluggish sister beside him and wanted to escape, but was held back by his parents. Don't be picky about food. Mom is right. The brother looked at his father's hand on his shoulder, which was no longer like a human hand. Fuck, this change in style is too outrageous. Many people were shocked. If Nexus was completely different from the previous Ultraman style, the previous one could be classified into many categories such as science fiction, and this one must be placed in the weird and thriller category. And this scene, compared with the previous one, the horror level is even higher. There are 2 spots of light, 2 humans and 2 alien beasts. Naji Nishijo looked at the spots of light on the screen and said, the children are in danger. Let's go save them. Wait a minute. Naji Nishijo looked at the detector screen and said, a new vibration wave has been discovered. This vibration wave is in the forest. Goroki was chasing Himiya-jun. No one can understand your pain. Even if you want to save those 2 children, they won't understand. I don't expect others to understand me. I'm just looking for the meaning of this light. Himiya-jun took out the evolution thruster, and Goroki also took out the dark evolutionary, Dark Mephisto transformer. But he didn't rush to transform, but looked to the side. That's where Naji Nishijo was. Naji, look carefully, this is my current form. The dark evolutionary unfolded, and the blue particles rendered Goroki's face into a terrifying black and white oil painting. The next second, the mirror image shattered, and a black-eyed giant appeared in this world. The devil of hell, Dark Mephisto. Nexus then transformed and appeared. Nexus, who was at a low health, faced Dark Mephisto, who was already at a slight disadvantage in terms of attributes. Now he had to fight Dark Mephisto, who was at a full health. This was almost like giving up his life. Dark Mephisto waved his right hand, and a double-edged Nexus armored weapon appeared on Dark Mephisto's right hand. Demon's Claw. A brand new dark giant. Dark Mephisto. There's a weapon. Both sides did not rush to fight, but circled around each other for a few times before making a tentative move. Dark Mephisto's flying kick was blocked by Nexus's Nexus armored, and then Dark Mephisto took advantage of his stiffness to kick him. Dark Mephisto jumped back to avoid it, and all of this was seen by Kirarezu. A giant appeared in the mountain before. Please go out. The remaining 3 members of the Night Raid team immediately attacked, and in the battlefield between Nexus and Dark Mephisto, Nexus was already at a disadvantage. Dark Mephisto kicked Nexus in the waist, and although Nexus blocked it, it still caused considerable damage. Then the slash of the Demon Claw was blocked by Nexus's Nexus armor. Nexus tried to distance himself by rolling, but Dark Mephisto's combat awareness was much stronger than that of the alien beast and the previous Dark Force. The demon claw swung, leaving 2 sparks on Nexus in an instant. Chapter 535. The 6th live broadcast begins. Friends of Questions browser, please go here. This is my browser account called Bloegwang. I will explain it to you. On a certain Earth, the Pacific Ocean. At the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, at least 3,000 meters from the sea surface, a giant beast is looking at the thing in front of him in confusion. What is this thing? After a brief thought, the giant beast decided to contact and test it first. Hello, His Majesty Godzilla, the King of Monsters. Welcome to join the Infinite Screaming Hall. Godzilla let out a low roar. As a titan, it should have been in a deep sleep, but at this moment it was awakened by the genes in its body. It could feel that something that made it unhappy had resurrected. Yes, it was Muto. Godzilla woke up this time to deal with Muto. But on the way, he encountered this strange thing. In Godzilla's memory, such a strange thing has never appeared. The other party can communicate with him through that strange text. Yes, it can understand the concept of text. After taking a look at this strange thing, Godzilla did not feel any malice from it, so he decided to ignore it and concentrate on finding his enemy. Another Marvel universe. In a city, a young, probably, girl in purple armor was rubbing her stomach with a sad face. Really, I'm starving. It's all my dad's fault. The girl waited for a long time and finally got to the front desk of this small shop. I want them all. The girl said to the clerk. This is an internet celebrity food store, which is said to have the most delicious food on this planet. Sorry, 1 serving per person. The clerk said arrogantly to the girl in strange clothes in front of him. Oh, so, then give me 1 serving of each flavor. The girl said aggrievedly. After waiting for an unknown amount of time, the girl left with a lot of food. It doesn't taste that good. The buns made by the old lady before tasted much better than this, and they were cheap and large, but I couldn't eat enough. The girl muttered softly. Hey, what are you talking about, girl? Several colorfully dressed Kree hooligans said to the girl, this is the best internet celebrity food on our Kree planet. Internet celebrity, do you understand? Come here to eat for the environment. The girl looked at the annoying decoration. Not to mention compared with the natural beauty in the universe, it was far inferior to her father's spaceship. Eat for art. The girl recalled the real masters she had seen, whose creations would even shock her father. Eat for manners. The girl thought for a while, and it seemed that why talk so much to this country girl who knows nothing. A hooligans walked over with a fierce look and said, you are destroying the reputation of the store. This matter can't be resolved so easily. The girl remembered that it was really bad for her to say bad things about others in front of others, and she apologized quickly. Several hooligans looked at each other, and the leader said, apology is useful. What is the use of the sheriff? The girl thought for a moment with her god level intelligence of level 7, and came to a conclusion. Sorry, I'll pay you back. The gangsters laughed even happier. How could they not know how bad the food in that store tasted? Even dogs wouldn't eat it. The main reason was because of the hype. The girl had been on their radar for a long time. This kind of girl who was stupid and rich was the easiest to cheat. Even if this girl who looked stupid and rich didn't say anything, they would find a way to find fault. They were planning to take the opportunity to extort money and take advantage of her. Now it seems that this girl is super easy to cheat. Ahem. Because you have caused a serious blow to the reputation of our store, we want to claim 100,000 carry coins from you. The gangsters knew that this was a huge demand. 100,000 carry coins. Even if they bought their store, they couldn't even get 1,000 carry coins together. 100,000 is enough to buy a spaceship. Okay, how should I give it to you? Transfer money? Haha, if you can't afford it, what do you say? Transfer money? Now it was the gangsters' turn to panic. They suddenly felt that they were wrong to extort money. Let me reiterate, it's 100,000 carry coins. Do you know what carry coins are? I know everything. The girl opened her personal terminal and her bank account. The string of zeros on the back door almost blinded the hooligans. The hooligans looked at each other and fled in an instant. MD, we ran into a tough guy. Those who can easily take out so much money must be from a super large guild across the galaxy or a royal family. If her family knew about this, it would be a disaster. You guys, the girl shouted, and they ran faster. Just when the girl was about to catch up, a screen suddenly appeared in front of the girl. "Hello, janitor." Huh? The girl janitor asked in confusion. "Excuse me, who are you?" "The Infinite Screening Hall officially invites you to join." "What is the Infinite Screening Hall?" "The Infinite Screening Hall is a place where everyone gathers to watch movies, eat and chat, and there you can also avoid your father's phone calls, eat, and you can hide from dad." Janitor's eyes lit up. "This is double the happiness. Do you know my dad?" "Not very well, mainly because I might persecute him from time to time." "What does persecution mean?" "Probably just a little joke on him." "Great. I'll join." "Welcome to the Infinite Screening Room. Here, the system will randomly play important events in a certain universe. During the screening, the system will randomly ask questions to people in the screening room, and those who answer correctly will get points." Members of this screening room: Ultraman Hickory, Tony Stark, Stephen Strange, Bruce Wayne, Magneto, Peter Parker, Constantine, Rebel God. The new member of this screening room is Janitor, the daughter of the Star Swallower. Members of this live broadcast room: Captain America, Wong, Wolverine Logan, Alfred, Thanos, Ultraman Ace, Loki Odinson, Wanda, Holy Lord, Dr. Manhattan, Wonder Woman. New member of this live broadcast room: King of Monsters Godzilla. The theme of this screening is Crazy Diversity. Part 1. King of Monsters. After experiencing the baptism of various terrifying monsters of the Giant of Light in the last live broadcast, everyone has no good feelings about the word monster. That is, Ray and his Gamora can still be excluded. Peter Parker, at JONATHAN Osterman, Drive Manhattan. Are you okay, Doctor? Bruce Wayne, Ow Alfred. Ow Diana Prince, Alfred. Diana, are you okay? Diana. Diana Prince, I'm fine. Mr. Clark is not a bad person. He is a very kind person. Bruce Wayne. Wayne breathed a sigh of relief. Diana was fine, but if Alfred got into trouble, then even if the other party was a monster that could push the combat power detector to the limit, he would make the other party pay the price. In the Batcave, looking at the nervous Wonder Woman and Alfred, a man wearing a blue tights, a red cape, and an S on his chest decided to be a little gentle. After all, the other party was an old man and a woman, but Diana Prince didn't look like it. Not to mention that the other party was an ultimate monster that could push the combat power detector to the limit. The instinct she had developed in countless battles allowed her to have a certain judgment of the opponent's strength. The oppressive feeling this man brought her was like a god. "Old man and this lady, please don't be nervous. I just came to ask why Bruce Wayne hired a private detective to investigate me." Superman looked at the black screen that suddenly appeared and asked, "What is this? And where did Bruce Wayne go? Why didn't he take you away?" Superman's attitude towards Bruce Wayne has declined greatly at this moment. He originally came to question Bruce Wayne, to warn him a little, and to find out how he knew his identity. Now he has the idea of teaching this guy a lesson. When he encountered danger, he directly abandoned his old butler and lover, in Superman's opinion, and ran away without a trace, and even he couldn't find the other party. The world's richest man ran very fast. Cinema. What's going on? Everyone gathered around with concern. I used the combat power detector I drew before to scan the world, and found some powerful individuals, and the strongest one pushed the combat power detector to explode. What? It exploded. Is the other party also Ultraman? Alfred, Master, Mr. Clark didn't hurt us. Seeing this, Bruce finally breathed a sigh of relief. In the Batcave. You mean, through that screen, you can see things from different universes, and you can also get things from different universes. You can find out where my detector came from? Clark looked at the screen thoughtfully. He found that he seemed to have accidentally discovered some big secret. Diana did not relax her vigilance. Although the opponent did not show the desire to attack, the record of being able to push the detector to explode was even too terrifying. You are too reckless. Hearing Strange's words, Wayne nodded. After all, he was not a god. He didn't expect that his plan would still have problems. He didn't expect that his arrangement would be like a joke in front of the opponent. Clark wanted to leave, but being able to see things from different universes was too tempting for him. He wanted to know if there was a Krypton in other universes, and if his people were still alive. In the screening room, Bruce, who saw that everyone was fine, quickly thought about how he could come up with a plan to restrain the monster. For a monster like this, at least 100 backup plans are needed. And Dr. Manhattan's answer was only then seen. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, I'm fine, thank you. Peter Parker, I feel that you have changed a lot. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, maybe it's because you were beaten. Guang, with your power, you can actually say such words. Is that person's power so strong? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, very strong. He can directly penetrate into the higher dimension and attack my body. My current body in the human world is just a carrier. I can reorganize it at any time, but that person directly hit the high dimension. The other party is a high dimensional life form like me. Janitor, high dimensional life form? If I'm not mistaken, it should be a little better than my dad's. At this time, everyone was paying attention to the girl, who was eating a lot. Seeing everyone's eyes on her, Janitor blushed and quickly put down the food and said, I heard from the person who called me and that everything here is free to eat, and it does cost money, I can afford it. At this point, Janitor slapped her thigh and said, oh no, I haven't paid them yet. Janitor, don't worry, everything here is free. Did you encounter anything? Janitor nodded and told everyone about the incident when she was blocked by the gangsters. Peter looked at this innocent girl, somewhat amused but even more angry, and whispered to Janitor, you've been scammed. What is scammer? Do you know what a liar is? Yes, my dad told me. A scammer is a liar. I was scammed. Janitor was stunned, and then she was very angry. She grabbed a bag of potato chips, and after a short thought, she decided to be a lady, so she only grabbed a handful, before stuffing it into her mouth. It's very dangerous for a little girl to be outside. Looking at the innocent girl, everyone was scared. If Janitor hadn't accidentally scared away the group of hooligans, who knows what would have happened. A group of adults decided to tell Janitor that the outside world is very dangerous. Where are your parents? I don't like my dad, and I've never seen my mother. Hiss, it's still a single parent family. Everyone looked at each other and decisively pushed Strange and Comrade Guang out. Strange had a headache. Why do these bastards always treat him as a psychologist? He is a neurosurgeon! Exclamation mark. After reading The Psychology of the Earthlings, Hikari instantly realized that this was a very tricky problem. Judging from the other person's appearance, she was only 15 or 16 years old, in the adolescence, which was the time of rebellion according to the Earthlings, and should be similar to Ultraman Zero. In addition, it was a single parent family, and the father was raising his daughter, which must be more troublesome. Comrade Guang, the first psychologist of the Kingdom of Light, is about to be dispatched. Where is the newcomer who just entered the live broadcast room? He seems to be still diving. In a sense, Godzilla is indeed diving. Peter Parker, at Godzilla, King of Monsters. Hello sir, can you come out and reply? Peter's did not play even the slightest role. Godzilla continued to dive. Okay, try it, and feel free to give me feedback if you have any questions. Chapter 536, The Joke of Hell and the Strange Red Creature. This new guy doesn't seem to like talking very much. King of Monsters, is it a real monster that came in this time? This statement shocked everyone. But think about it, it's not impossible. What kind of people are in the screening room? Demigods, demons, pseudo-gods, aliens, superhumans, ordinary humans, mutants, high-dimensional life forms. Anyway, there are all kinds of people. The screening room has always been wild. It's not impossible for a real monster to come. Bruce's face was uncertain. For the time being, it seems that the other party has no intention of hurting Alfu, but who can guarantee that the other party is not a schizophrenic patient or a moody person? This kind of terrifying monster only needs to wave its hand to generate a storm comparable to a level 9 gale. If it has some other superpowers, it will be even more terrifying. How did this monster appear on Earth? Batcave. Clark was also very aggrieved. He was doing farm work on the farm and suddenly heard someone discussing him a few kilometers away. Let's discuss it, but the other party seems to be a private detective. Someone is investigating him. Could it be that someone discovered his previous Takiaf in the south stage? If it was just targeting him, that would be fine. There was nothing on Earth that could hurt him. But if it hurt Martha, Clark was concerned about this matter and used his super hearing to eavesdrop on the other party's conversation from a few kilometers away. During their conversation, he found out that the person investigating him was Bruce Wayne, the world's richest man and the owner of the Wayne Group. Clark Kent had nothing to do with such a rich man. So why did the other party investigate Clark Kent? Clark looked up and found that there were many more satellites printed with the Wayne Group's standards in the Earth's orbit. Moreover, several satellites were pointed here. It seemed that another satellite exploded for some unknown reason. At this moment, Clark suddenly remembered that some time ago, the Wayne Group acquired a large number of companies related to aerospace and artificial satellites, and had the intention of entering the outer space. But now thinking about it, could it be that the other party was not entering the universe, but trying to monitor the Earth? Exclamation mark. A few days ago, Wayne Group also acquired a company that researches diving equipment. Although he didn't know why or how to do it, Clark always felt that he had better do something. So Clark decided to start a war to ask for the crime. There was no other way. He had come to his door. What if the other party wanted to do something to Martha while he was away? This rich man was from Gotham. I heard that Gotham was an oversized mental hospital. Who knows if this Bruce Wayne would have any mental illness. But when he came to the rich man's not very hidden secret base, he found that the situation here was beyond his expectations. Another world. This shock was second only to knowing his true identity for Clark. Cinema. Everyone's initial impression of Janitor gradually formed. This is a naive and kind little girl from a single parent family. She has a high status in her family, but she is quite rebellious. Because of Janitor's previous words, everyone automatically attributed her to an alien. Janitor thought about it. Her father's reputation was so bad. The big brothers and sisters in the cinema and a group of uncles were so nice. What if they knew her father's identity and hated her? No, I can't tell you my father's identity. Janitor didn't want to tell you about her family, and no one forced her. They just repeatedly emphasized that she must go home when she gets back. It's too dangerous for a girl to be alone outside. If she doesn't listen, I won't take her out to play next time. Janitor nodded and agreed. The sixth show, Deadpool, starts in 10 minutes. Is this the screening? Yes. Peter looked at Janitor as if he was looking at his own sister. He explained, the screening room should show it 6 times this time, plus there may be on-demand viewing. Last time I requested the light in my body. But don't worry, the time in your world will stop in the screening room. Time is paused. Janitor suddenly asked seriously, is it the entire universe, the area where I am, or the entire multiverse that will stop? How big is the control range of this time pause, and what level of people can be paused? Multiverse level. Omnipotent level? If you jump out of time, can you be controlled by his time pause? Janitor's question stunned Peter. He always regarded Janitor as a little girl who knew nothing. He didn't expect that the other party would talk about the multiverse, the omnipotent universe, and jumping out of time. I can answer this question. Hikaru walked over and said, last time, when Ace entered the screening room, our world should have been suspended, but King Ao, who suffered a loss last time, was prepared to deal with this time suspension. Later, King Ao told me that at that time, the entire multiverse, as long as the universe with King existed, was suspended. K76. King Ao glanced at the screen with dissatisfaction. In fact, the situation at that time was a little more complicated than this. Janitor, what does your family do? Hearing Peter's question, Janitor thought for a while and said, I don't like my father's work, and I don't know much about him. His main task is to clean up the planet. In the past, when my father was busy with work, he threw me in his spaceship. I could only read books in the spaceship. I learned a lot of things from books. Clean up the planet? Yes, my father actually worked for others, although he also had people working for him. Oh, that's it. Tony and others had a general understanding of the situation at Janitor's home. This girl should be from a high-level civilization. Her father should work for a cleaning company, but the scope of work has been upgraded from a certain area to a planet. Considering that Noah and Zaki used planets as balls to hit people when they fought in the universe, it is reasonable for the cleaners of high-level planets to be responsible for cleaning a planet. Hikari also said at the time that some cosmic people developed their own galaxies more carefully, and every planet in the star system is inhabited, so it is reasonable for such a galaxy-level cleaning company to exist. Peter made up his mind. For some reasons, Janitor's mother left her when Janitor was very young, and his father had to work to support the family and had no time to take care of Janitor. Due to the lack of fatherly and motherly love in childhood, Janitor began to rebel, and the cleaner of that civilization should not have a high status, so Janitor was always hesitant about her father's information. Yes, that's right, that's it. I said that the theater would not recruit people with both parents. Among all of you present, Janitor is the best, she at least has a father. Thinking of this, Peter decided to find a way to persuade Janitor. It's better to have something than nothing. Deadpool start link. On an overpass, a weirdo in a red tights is drawing with a crayon. From the overly abstract painting, we can see that this should be a what's more abstract. The weirdo in the red tights suddenly turned his head and said, "Listen, I'm not a weirdo in a red tights. I'm the great Deadpool. Godzilla is diving." It seems that the content of the 5th volume has been updated, and the data and everything are updated, but the reader page will not prompt the update. I will update 10,000 chapters a day for the 5th volume, and 1 chapter for the 6th volume as a reminder. Remember to go back and take a look. I always feel a little bit of loss, but I can't delete it. Chapter 537. Please say thank you, grenade. What the hell? Everyone was stunned. Is this strange thing talking to them? Thanos felt extremely unhappy the first time he saw it. Deadpool continued to chatter. Aha, you are shocked by my handsomeness. But this director is not good. Where did he invite the narration from? It's too bad. Hey, man, learn from me. You should pronounce it like this. Deadpool cleared his throat and said in a deep tenor, "First of all, the deep tenor is a grammatical error. Secondly, celebrate. What you are seeing now is the most benevolent, kind, supreme and powerful Deadpool Wade Winston Wilson. X-Men World." It took Logan a minute to react to the mental shock brought by Deadpool and said, "That guy seems to be Wade?" So, 3 minutes later, Logan did something that he would regret for the rest of his life. Deadpool stuffed the paintbrush and drawing paper into his crotch, then continued to look at the camera and said, "Hey, you are not the audience in the movie theater. Who are you? Oh, my Virgin Mary. Oh, my burrito. Are you observers? Oh, no, you are not. The observers are all a group of big-headed bull dolls, and there is no way such a beautiful girl will appear among them." Janitor, who was pouring milk tea into his mouth, was stunned and asked, "Is he talking about me?" "Of course, Janitor." Deadpool waved in the direction of the screening room. "Your father and I are friends of life and death." "Wow. Is my father so famous? People in other universes also know him?" "Of course, he is invincible." "Oh, hi. Wait a minute. The great Deadpool is going to take action." Deadpool is taking action, and everyone is down. Hikari and other older audiences said, "We have watched the screening for so long. What big scenes have we not seen? Ultron destroyed the world, witches awakened, infinite phoenixes, the battle between light and darkness, to the glorious people." But they really had never seen this scene. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. Yes. Multiverse Observer? No. To be precise, it should be the Wall Breaker. Janitor, Multiverse Observer? I know the Observer. But what is a Wall Breaker? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. The Wall Breaker is a name I gave him. If our existence is a book for a higher existence, then we as characters in the book cannot know that we are in the book, nor can we know that someone is watching our behavior and everything about us by reading the book. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. It's like the videos we watch. Even if the characters in the videos are extremely powerful, they don't know that we are watching them. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. But this Deadpool can directly break the dimensional wall and talk to us, and judging from his appearance, he has long been accustomed to it. Wonder, impossible. The final battle between Common and Zaki almost blew up the universe, and the great god Noah even modified the history of the universe in a thought. Beings of this level don't even notice the existence of the screening room. That Deadpool has this ability. Of course I can. Deadpool shot off an opponent's head with one shot, and then was shot in the head 3 times by the opponent. Then he shouted to the screen, the one who posted the barrage, "I'm the great benevolent, kind, supreme and powerful Burrito Lord." Wanda looked at it with a black line on her face. What the hell is this thing? K76. Seeing this, Kingo sent a text message to his old friend. "I found something interesting. Come quickly. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. I think that breaking the wall is not strength, but a kind of talent. No one can say for this kind of thing. Logan, Wade, I'm Logan. Do you remember me? Logan. Yes. Yes." The Mexican Deadpool sprayed the enemy with a knife, saying as he sprayed, the one who does the subtitles for the narration, "Be careful, there is a typo, bastard. I'm killing the enemy, not spraying. If you make a typo again, I will move your chapter from crazy multiverse to the age of magic." Oh, my old Logan. How could I forget you, your tendons, your biceps, your beard? Do you still remember the good times we had when we were on missions together? Back then you almost stabbed me to death with one claw asterisk 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 my asterisk 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 Logan. I didn't. Don't talk nonsense. What? You don't recognize me? You scumbag. You deserve to be dumped by Magneto. What the hell? Seeing this, Magneto cursed. "Why are you involved with me again? What do you mean you forgot? When you and Charles went to find Logan together, you asked Logan to accompany you for drinks." Boom. A grenade flew to Deadpool's feet and exploded, turning Deadpool into a pool of meat paste. "Please say, thank you, grenade." Logan's face was broken. He felt that his innocence had been completely ruined by this. If I can see him in the future, I must cut 800 holes on him and draw a turtle on his face with my claws. After being attacked by Deadpool's mental storm, everyone in the screening room was a little confused. Batcave. Clark's eyes were a little dull, and after a moment he reacted and asked, "You guys, do you usually watch this?" "I didn't." "Don't talk nonsense." Diana denied it flatly. If this matter got out, her innocence would be ruined. What was playing in the theater before? It was Ultraman, the warrior of light, the glory of humanity in the battle with darkness. What about now? What is this thing playing now? Please continue to play Ultraman. Don't play this messy shameful thing. It's too much to watch. Magneto, thank you. Grenade. Wanda, thank you. Grenade. Logan, thank you so much. Grenade. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. It seems that the other party does have a very strong ability to break through the wall. I know nothing about this kind of power. If possible, I would like to communicate with him. No, to study his brain and soul. Bruce Wayne, study the brain and soul? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. Yes, based on my continuous deduction, I finally concluded that I can't communicate effectively with the other party. Strange, crazy diversity, really crazy. Peter is considering whether to plug Janet's ears to prevent such a young girl from being mentally polluted. Godzilla is diving. MD, I hope this chapter won't be blocked. Chapter 538, near Jonathan Wick Constantine's bullet time. Oh, shit. Fuck. Damn it. RMN. It only took Deadpool 3 seconds to regroup from a pile of rotten meat into a complete person. Are his clothes made of some special material? Tony asked puzzledly. We can understand that the body can recover quickly as a super healing ability like Logan, but why do clothes also recover? Nanomaterials? Or recovery magic? Listen carefully, Tony big shit. I'm Lord Deadpool who can make the impossible possible. Nothing is impossible for me. A car came speeding and hit Deadpool into the sky. Tony Stark, thank you, driver who drives without looking at people. Note 1 Deadpool first took out 1 or 2 pistols from his pocket, then took out a pair of long knives from his pocket, and finally took out a large bag of weapons from his pocket. Deadpool took out his pocket and said, "Hey, listen to me, man, I'm not a quirk to take out my pockets. It's mainly because I left all the weapons in the car of my dear brown skinny friend, so now I have to use my dear 4-dimensional pocket to get them." Oh, dear friend, yes, this is a 4-dimensional pocket, not a strange thing like a 4-dimensional pocket. I just happened to put them in this more delicate place. Deadpool pulled his hand out of his pocket with a happy face. Listen to me, man. This is good for preventing cancer. Hey, do you know? I have filmed a public service advertisement in this regard. I remember the website address. Oh, shit, these guys are starting to attack. Everyone, wait for me. Deadpool took out an RPG from his pocket and fired a rocket at the convoy in front of him. Seeing that the rocket was about to collide with the convoy, Deadpool quickly turned around and posed a handsome pose. Ahaha, this stupid author didn't even know how to spell pose and had to look it up. The next second, a car was lifted up by the explosion, spun and flew over, and hit Deadpool directly. Oh, the feeling of being hit by an exploding car is so great. Hey, do you know? This feeling is like a spicy Mexican chicken roll. That kind of hot chili sauce jumps and dances on your taste buds, and every taste bud is affected by the taste nerves. Oh my god, I used to go there to play before I was disfigured by Francis. Hey, Peter and that blueberry monster, why are you covering Janet's eyes and ears? Don't you know why I covered her eyes? Peter asked back angrily. He no longer had time to think about why this bitch could talk to him without any obstacles. The most urgent thing was to block Janet's ears and cover her eyes. He couldn't let such a small, innocent and cute little girl be mentally polluted by this guy. Is the blueberry monster talking about me? Hikaru had never seen an earthling so wild, so he could only relieve his embarrassment in this way. Yes, I'm talking about you. Deadpool climbed out of the car unscathed, and even his clothes didn't show any signs of being burned. Listen, in addition to blueberries, there is also a kind of crayfish that is blue. Do you like crayfish? If you like it, I'll call you a cold crayfish. You ask me why I'm so wild? Oh ha ha ha. Of course I'm wild. I have the genetic genes of Wolverine in my body. Did I say that? Hikaru himself was stunned. Logan, no, I'm not. Wait a minute. What do you mean by my genetic genes? Logan was stunned. He was really straight. Exclamation mark. Oh, my dear Logan. Deadpool said to the screen with affection. Have you forgotten? It was your genetic factor that transformed my body. Let me gain the ability to live forever. Of course, there is also the purple potato spirit. Aha. You don't understand. The most benevolent, kind, supreme and powerful Deadpool can hear the narration. Deadpool took out a knife from his pocket again, picked it up, and started a wonderful battle with those who surrounded him with guns. Suddenly, everything on the screen slowed down. In this environment, everything seemed very slow, including bullets. Except Deadpool. Aha. Look carefully, this move is bullet time. It is John Constantine's ultimate move. Note 2, what the hell? Constantine was so scared that his cigarette fell to the ground. When did he learn bullet time? Exclamation mark. Deadpool cut the bullet in two with a knife, and the bullet that was cut in two flew from both sides of his head under the action of kinetic energy. Then Deadpool swung his sword handsomely, and the opponent's submachine gun fired biu. Deadpool waved his sword and didn't block a single bullet. The bullet hit Deadpool's body and then passed through his body under the action of kinetic energy, splashing blood. I swear to that son of a bitch. Got. Constantine put the cigarette back into his mouth and said viciously, I definitely don't have this kind of stupid skill, not even the ones in the screening room. Deadpool kept waving his long knife in the confusion of the gunman, and it was impossible for his mouth to stop. Listen to me, Nia, if you keep smoking like this, you will really have to go to the nutrition cabin to be a battery for the Matrix. You still have a beautiful fiancée, and she is being mistaken for his wife by an old coffin god who has been lying in a coffin for more than 400 years and is confused. Oh, poor Minna, she is still waiting for you to save her. Jonathan. Oh. My poor dog, your master John Wick doesn't recognize you anymore. Don't look at it. It's you. Constantine. Constantine was stunned. What the hell is going on? Exclamation mark. Enough. Constantine said with a dark face. First of all, I don't have a fiancé. Secondly, it is even more impossible for me to have the names Nia and Jonathan. No, you do. You also have the name John Wick. Damn it. Constantine cursed. If this guy was in my world, Lucifer would give him eternal life. so that he wouldn't have to go to hell to bother him to death. Oh, who needs a Lucifer who opens a bar in a downtown area? What's more, that purple potato spirit has already given me eternal life. As the gunman looked confused, Deadpool chopped off his head with a knife, and then took out something emitting a faint blue light from his pocket. Damn it. This time it was Tony who cursed. Isn't that my fucking nano suit? March 30th. This is a special day, because today is the birthday of your author June. Don't count on rewards. After all, not everyone is as strong as the boss Voidheart. But, how about a free happy birthday? Note 1. Deadpool suddenly got up from the ground, knelt on his knees and kowtowed 3 times. Thank you to that guy named Voidheart, who gave me 28,500 starting coins in one breath, to become my first protector. There's nothing much to show. Let Deadpool kowtow to you. Note 2. Listen carefully. The great Deadpool is here, to make up for it. Keanu Reeves is the star of The Matrix and Hellblazer. He is Neo and John Constantine. Let the idiots who watch pirated copies be confused. Chapter 539. Deadpool, armed with iron. I'm so tired. Yes, what Deadpool took out from his crotch this time was the nano armor. Deadpool pressed the core of the nano armor to his chest. I'm so tired. Metal particles flowed from Deadpool's body and finally formed a brand new metal armor. After Deadpool put on the metal armor, he took out a long knife and went to close combat with him, easily chopping off the heads of all the enemies with one knife. Ah, damn it. Deadpool kicked a headless corpse to the side and said, originally, that bastard Francis should have appeared in this convoy. Hey, do you want to know who Francis is now? No, we just want to know what you are now. Oh, great, you want to know. Deadpool was about to say something when he saw someone coming. Ah, so annoying. Just as annoying as the stupid author who published the contents of the 5th volume to the 6th volume because of handshaking. Wade, a big guy with a metallic luster all over his body, came over with a short-haired girl in black and a cute girl with pink hair. The short-haired girl looked indifferent, but the big guy with metal hair was full of anger. Why do you want to kill people, Wade? Hi, Wade. The pink-haired girl greeted Wade enthusiastically. Hi, Zuxu. Do you know why I have to greet you every time we meet? Because you are very polite, unlike that big guy who has a dead face all day long. Seeing this, Deadpool turned his head and said, let me introduce you to everyone. This big guy with a stainless steel luster all over his body is called Colossus. He is a member of the X-Men. Just like you, Logan. Thank you for introducing me to the air and these headless dead, Wade. Colossus didn't care about Deadpool's weird behavior. In their eyes, Deadpool was an out-and-out psychopath. Since he is a psychopath, then everything he does is reasonable. God knows what a psychopath is thinking. Don't be so cold, let me tell you, this guy's metallized all over, even his asterisk is metallized. Hey, I really haven't thought about this. Is your asterisk metallized? Wade. Colossus glared at Deadpool, and at the same time, indicated that there were 2 girls here, so he should be a little more restrained when talking. Oh, man, I really don't know if your whole body is metallized, and your brain is also metallized. Of course, your brain may also be crushed by the Sentinel. What about your emotional intelligence? Listen Wade, my emotional intelligence is normal. Oh. Deadpool asked with interest, then can you see the relationship between Tomboy and Zuxu? They are comrades and classmates, and they are very good friends. Ha 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 ha. Hearing this, Deadpool burst into laughter and rolled on the ground. Black Queen and Zuxu also smiled helplessly. Colossus grabbed Deadpool and said, enough Wade. I don't know what you're laughing at, come with me right now. No, man, you should ask me what I'm laughing at. Deadpool said unhappily. Dodge a coin author, you can't afford to play, don't play. Listen to me Wade. Colossus squatted down and said patiently, I know your story. I'm also sad that your face is disfigured, but I won't discriminate against you. X Academy. Wow. Deadpool took off his hood and exposed his face, which was as bumpy as mud, and gave people a feeling of smelling a rotten egg in the dog days of summer, and canned herrings exposed to the sun for 3 days and 3 nights. Ugh, Colossus vomited. Look, what do you call this? You're just saying one thing and thinking another. Colossus wanted to look at Deadpool's face seriously and try to explain, but when he saw Deadpool's face from the corner of his eye, he couldn't help but kneel down and vomit. Well, actually I know this feeling too. Deadpool said helplessly, I ate quail eggs again before, but I ate a rotten egg. I want to vomit when I think of that feeling now. Finally, Deadpool paused and cursed, the dog author abused my body again. Wade, what are you talking about? Deadpool heard Zuxu's voice and quickly put on the headset and said, it's nothing, Zuxu, it's nothing. Well, dear Captain Deadpool is leaving. After all, not everyone can do nothing all day like the world's richest man Bruce Wayne. I still have to go home to cook. You can't leave, Wade. Colossus stood up with his last breath and said to Deadpool sincerely, come with us, go back to X Academy, where we can help you. Wow, you are such a good person, really? Deadpool suddenly burst into tears. Really, I'm moved. You are so kind that you must not be from the DC universe. Then but I'm different. Deadpool makes his hand into the shape of a bat and says, I'm Batman. Deadpool, disconnect, take a 10-minute break, I'll connect Deadpool again. After a moment of silence, the theater exploded. Logan, that bastard is talking nonsense. I like women, Magneto. I once swore that I would not have a family until the mutants were prosperous. I can't possibly like a man. Thanos, did that guy say that I gave him immortality? But I can't even have immortality myself. How can I give immortality to others? Ganata, can you take your hand away? Agwang, what are blueberries? Are they delicious? Ganata, delicious. Where can I find delicious food? Rebagod, what an interesting person. I really want to be friends with him. Captain America, interesting. I think my spirit has been polluted. Holy Lord, what on earth is that guy? I have never seen such a strange thing in all my years. Loki Odinson, all creatures in the 9 realms combined cannot be even 1/10,000th as crazy as him. Diana Prince, Mr. Clark said he still wants to ask, what exactly do we usually watch? Bruce Wayne, that guy mentioned me, could it be something from our world? Diana Prince, forget it. Magneto, no, it must be from our world. Let's not talk about that guy knowing Logan. X Academy is the school established by Charles, and it is also his hard work. That Colossus must be a mutant, and the other two are similar. It seems that Deadpool has no chance to escape. Loki Odinson, are all you mutants like this? Exclamation mark. I have searched the 9 realms and can't find anything weirder than this. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, is this the price for ordinary people to break through the wall? Wanda, I thought breaking through the wall was pretty good, but now it seems that forget it. Not only will you become so ugly, but your brain will also go crazy. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, but it seems that this power also has certain limitations. Although it can sense our existence, it cannot break through the wall with its body. Otherwise, it can directly enter the screening room. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, of course, it is not ruled out that the screening room is of a high level. Deadpool can break through the wall, but he cannot break through the defense of the screening room. Strange, I would rather negotiate with Dormammu than have such a thing around me. I think my brain will explode. Constantine, I still care about the names that guy said. Nia, Jonathan, and John will. Pay attention to Bruce's words and take a look at the hypergalaxy I wrote. It was very tiring and careful to write. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 540, The Unspeakable Song played by the Supreme Sorcerer Dr. Deadpool. Wanda, it's just the crazy talk of that madman. Constantine, I've never heard of this name, but I feel strangely familiar with it. I think it's not that simple. Agwang, maybe, that Deadpool's ability to break through the wall is stronger than we thought. He can break through the crystal wall system of the multiverse to see other universes, so he is really talking about your isotope? Constantine, it is indeed possible. Wanda, wait a minute. Doesn't that mean he is of Y year? Has it also seen me? Girls are more careful after all. When everyone thought that there was a guy peeping at them, they felt a chill. Think about it, when you are eating, taking a bath, dating and shopping, there is a guy peeping at you, how do you feel? And when this guy is a red tights creature with a face like mud, full of dirty jokes, and seemingly can be both men and women, everyone's chill suddenly doubled. 10 minutes have passed, connecting to Deadpool. Why is it so fast? There were constant wails in the screening room. Good luck, everyone. Deadpool was wearing a sorting hat, a hanging ring on his left hand, a puffer fish in his hand, an oak staff and a dried lizard in his right hand, a white beard on his face, a knife Agamotto hanging around his neck, sitting on an electric chair. The helmet used to electrify the electric chair was a yellow rat. He was wearing a pair of pink Hello Kitty slippers, his feet were in a basin, and there were 5 gems of different colors in the basin. The gems were emitting strange light. In front of him were various psychic props, crystal balls, white candles, hexagram arrays, tarot cards, copper coins, black cats, roosters, black dogs, mahogany swords, coffin boards, crosses. Hello. Deadpool also said to everyone in an old voice, I'm Merlin, you can also call me the Supreme Sorcerer Dr. Deadpool. When everyone saw Deadpool's appearance, they didn't know how to complain, because there were too many things to complain about. Seeing that everyone was so shocked by his handsome appearance, that they were speechless, Deadpool was very happy. Now it's time for questions. Everyone can speak. Everyone didn't want to speak, because they always had a dangerous feeling, that they couldn't change back if they answered. Oh, hey, don't. Seeing that everyone didn't speak, Deadpool couldn't help complaining. Do you know how much effort I had to put in to get such a set of psychic equipment? Deadpool pointed to the coffin board under his basin and said, look, I dug this coffin board out of the grave of old John next door. Then Deadpool introduced his pair of broken coppers to everyone like a treasure. Broken coppers, treasures, broken coppers, treasures, just fucking broken coppers and rotten iron. You idiot. There is no iron in it. You are talking nonsense. What is the outside of the eye of Agamotto? This is a plastic shell. It doesn't count as iron. Have you forgotten? Exclamation mark. You bought it from PDD. $9.09 free shipping. I don't care. It is. And this. Deadpool suddenly introduced it to everyone while cursing. I got this crystal ball from a Cambodian guy at a flea market. I spent a full $5 on it. Why is he suddenly angry? God knows. That old man God will never be able to guess what this lunatic is thinking. Compared to his previous performance, his mood swings are just like a normal person. Yeah, just like in Gotham. If you just drink and don't even take drugs, then you're just an angel. After Deadpool explained to everyone while cursing, he finally said, do you know why I made such a big fuss? Strange thought for a moment and asked, to disgust me and Constantine. No, no, no. Deadpool said seriously, great wizards must make a lot of preparations before casting spells. The casting process of yours, that can use magic with just a rub of your hands is heresy. I guessed right. Strange turned his head and said to Constantine on the side, he is disgusting us. Agree. Listen up, heretic. Deadpool said, holding up his staff, I'm the most orthodox ancient wizard. Ah, yes, you are right. Listen up. What kind of people are the ancient wizards? They are all capable of fighting, resisting, and riding horses. There are a lot of prerequisites before chanting spells. Some can create magic circles with a flick of their hands. Some are like wooden stakes when they stand and chant spells, and they are not as strong as wooden stakes. And some go up and stab with daggers. They are all heretics. Loki Odinson, he disgusted me. Enough. Deadpool raised his hands and made a French military posture, saying, I summoned you here to let you witness the birth of the great superhero Deadpool. Superhero? You? Are you really not a supervillain? You killed people and killed so many. Wait, why do you say it's a summon? Okay, the great Deadpool is going to cast a spell. Deadpool raised his hands and chanted, Wabi Babu, Makabaka, Dumbledore, Yabaloo. After chanting the spell, Deadpool threw the things in his hands and pulled the switch beside him to power on the electric chair. Pikachu, use 100,000 volts. accompanied by a loud Pikachu from the power-on device above Deadpool's head. A strong current passed through Deadpool's body, and Deadpool's bones were visible to the naked eye. I remember that the last time Mr. Constantine sat on the electric chair, it wasn't so tragic. Peter whispered. Don't ask. The only thing you need to know is that this guy has a special physiological structure. The power went out. Deadpool lay straight on the ground. Is that the end? What's going on? Long live Demasha. Deadpool suddenly jumped up, raised his arms high, and the shell of the eye of Agamotto on his neck melted under the strong current, and the green stone fell into the water. The 6 Infinity Stones gathered together, and a miracle happened. Deadpool's thoughts turned into a colorful and dark light. A miracle happened. A colorful and dark light burst out from Deadpool's foot washing water, and the surrounding illusions began to distort. Chaotic colors appeared. Countless noises were like whispers, and there seemed to be singing, as if praising the indescribable existence. What a cold singing voice. It's like the darkest night of the doomsday. It's like the devil's throat tearing the earth apart. It's like an arrow of sin piercing the sky, like the howling wind of withering life. The laws of the universe waver before them. The whispers of life tremble before them. The glory of the old gods fades. The glory of the stars turns to ashes. The eternity of the sun and the moon gradually withers. How great. How crazy. Praise you, great lord of the basement. The last paragraph is forwarded from my friend Pingleides. The chapter that was mistakenly posted to the 6th volume has been transferred back to the 5th volume. Chapter 541. The Killer Wall of the Villain Bar. Wade Wilson. A killer who occasionally helps old ladies find cats. The place he often goes to is an underground bar. The bar's logo is a skull with 2 hand bones. The hands of the bones are holding 2 beer cups, and the beer on them is overflowing. This is a gathering place for mercenaries. Many mercenaries are registered here, and then take jobs to support themselves. Wade is no exception. Because this is a gathering place for many villains, it is also called the Villain Bar. There is a sign here, which is full of the signs of the killer mercenaries in the bar, so that customers can order food conveniently. The signs inside include, but are not limited to, Predator, Alien, Dracula, Mr. Freeze, Hannibal, Scarecrow, Red Skull, Bane, Fairy Godmother, Licker, Tyrant, Bowser, Megatron, Voldemort, Joker, General Zod, Warner Captain America. Captain America. I seem to see an ominous name Logan. Who? Captain America. Red Skull, the leader of Hydra. When I fought with Detroit, I was mainly dealing with Red Skull and his Hydra. Captain America. I saw the title of Red Skull on the wall of that bar. Tony Stark. If you ask me, you are overthinking it. These guys like to give themselves a title that looks cool, but is actually very tasteless. If there is no Captain America in that world, there will probably be no Red Skull and Hydra. It should be a hippie who accidentally came up with this title. Logan. People who hang out outside will give themselves a nickname. Compared with others using nicknames, you use your real name, which will make you look good. Peter Parker. I thought that the nickname was to prevent the disclosure of one's identity and cause unnecessary trouble. Is it because of this? Logan. Generally speaking, people like them have no family. Even if they have a family, their relationship with their family is very indifferent. They are mostly doing bloody work on the edge of a knife. If there is a big family behind them, it will be very troublesome. Logan. The most frightening thing about this line of work is having attachments. Once you have attachments, you will be timid when taking action, which will lead to mission failure and make it easier to lose your life. Janitor. So that's how it is. As Janitor ate the cake, something came to his mind. Should I give myself a nickname? This way, people won't find out about my relationship with my dad. What should I call myself? It must be better than my dad's nickname. Galactus is too ugly. Pretty cute. Wanda. But these guys' names are really weird. How come there's one called Warner? Peter Parker. Megatron is a good name. Is he also a Transformers fan? Tony Stark. Transformers? Peter Parker. A knife in our world. I especially like Bumblebee. Tony looked a little strange. He asked, "Kid, is the Bumblebee you are talking about a yellow second generation Camaro?" Yes. That's what Bumblebee looked like when he first came to Earth. Mr. Stark, do you watch Transformers 2? No, I don't watch those things. Tony said lightly, I have one. Did you buy a car like Bumblebee? No, I have a real one that can transform and fight. Peter's breathing became a little faster. Although Peter is already the inheritor of light, he is ultimately a child under 20 years old. It is normal for him to like Autobots. Did you draw it in the theater? Tony nodded with a dark face. Except for the preview, which was basically a reward card given by the theater, the rest of the card drawing was simply the biggest obstacle to his perfect life. Brother Parker. Janitor suddenly asked, if Bumblebee can transform, can the spaceship also transform? Peter nodded and said, giant transformer, that's an entire base. If the base can transform, the spaceship can definitely transform as well. The screening room is omnipotent. As long as you are lucky enough, you can draw anything. It takes fire to transform the vehicle into a transformer, but the transformers transformed by the fire are all Decepticons, who have no good feelings for carbon-based creatures, and will attack them. If you can draw the fire modified by the screening room, there will be no problem. If that's really the case. Janitor's eyes were full of expectation. Then I'm going to turn my dad's spaceship into a transformer. Ah, you'd better talk to your dad. The video continues. The person in charge of the bar here is a yellow-haired guy in a robe. His name is Palpatine. Deadpool is a frequent visitor here. Of course, he is not called Deadpool now, but Wade Wilson. Wade met a goddess of the world in a drinking contest. Those who understand can go to Baidu Encyclopedia to find out, and he fell in love with her uncontrollably. Love that goes both ways is always beautiful and enviable. Wade's handsome appearance, humorous and slightly lively personality are easy to attract girls, and Vanessa is no exception. From then on, the two began a beautiful life of living together. Wade even planned to save up the last sum of money and retire from the world to live an ordinary life with Vanessa. But fate always likes to smash your beautiful expectations for the future. Wade and Vanessa had just got engaged when Wade was found to have cancer, and it was in the late stage. The cancer cells had spread all over his body. The blow of cancer was like a bolt from the blue. Wade was completely dumbfounded. He had no choice but to choose to drink to relieve his sorrow. As long as the worst day, any normal person can be driven crazy. Bruce suddenly said this for some reason. Wanda, it turns out that this guy also had a very bad experience to become like that. Magneto, no, according to that guy's recovery ability, can't we just cut off the diseased part? Strange, although you said it is very simple, it is actually much more complicated to operate, but according to his self-healing ability, that can recover without any damage, even if he is blown into mud. This method of cutting off the diseased part is indeed effective. Strange, at least it is effective before the disease reaches the brain. Strange, and considering that guy's self-healing ability and crazy personality, I don't think he will feel desperate about it. He should just perform surgery on himself and remove all his diseased organs. 4 chapters of Ultra Galaxy have been updated, and I found that 2 gods have appeared in the book review area recently. One said that I update once a day, and the other said that he keeps dozens of them for himself, and they are all trainees. It's funny. April Fool's Day is full of clowns. I watched Deadpool 1 when I was watching a movie in class. I don't know where those guys found the uncut version of Deadpool. Yes, it is the original version without any cuts, of course with subtitles. Friends who have seen the original version may know that the director used a very wild method to shoot the daily life of Wade and Vanessa. To be honest, there is no problem in stretching the time of this thing to 2 hours and then putting it on 91. Chapter 542, Wade's Awakening. Sad Wade could only drink to relieve his sorrow and incurred a huge debt at the bar. Here you go, Wade. A girl with twin ponytails, colorful makeup on her face, and extremely revealing clothes handed Wade a glass of wine. This is for you. Thank you, Holly. Wade took the glass of wine and drank it in one gulp. Listen, man, can you please stop doing this? The yellow-haired guy who was the bartender and the boss frowned and said, you've already drunk too much today. What does it matter? I'm hopeless anyway. Wade said in despair, listen, I'm in the late stage of cancer. One less drink doesn't matter. Is that what I care about? The yellow-haired guy cursed. What I care about is the money you owe me for drinks. Do you know how much money you owe me for drinks? Go out and get me a task now. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it's just being a gigolo. Pay me back the money you owe me. Otherwise, don't blame me. How about I'll let you do it for free? Wade was about to take off his clothes. Oh, damn. He started to take off his pants. Get out of here. I'm straight. Have the cancer cells eaten your brain? Wade was thrown out by the force. Just when he was about to go to another place to drink, or find a place to cause trouble, a man in a suit, holding an umbrella, with a round face like a ball and an extremely uncomfortable fake smile appeared in front of Wade. Hey, Mr. Wade Wilson. Hey, Penguin. Oh, you are not Cobblepot. Who told you to hold an umbrella? When Bruce Wayne heard this, he suddenly felt that the other party's ability to break the wall might have begun to awaken at this time. When he sees that guy again, he must ask, what is the DC universe? Are you here to vent your anger to me? Although you look like a Russian doll, I'm short of money recently. If you have zero, I can accept it. I have to leave some money for my Vanessa. Of course, I can't pay back the wine money I owe to Palpatine. The other party was obviously specially trained. He patiently helped Wade up, wiped the wine stains from the corners of his mouth, and said in a gentle tone, listen, Mr. Wade, I can cure your disease. Aha, here, no problem. Wait, what did you say? Great. Mr. Wade is saved. Janitor was excited, and others even didn't have the heart to tell Janitor the truth. At the same time, some members of the screening room and live broadcast room, who were full of paternal and maternal love, even wanted to teach Janitor's father a lesson. How dare he let such an innocent and kind girl out to play alone? But the more he didn't say it, the greater the possibility that Janitor would encounter danger after returning. Peter said to Janitor, the man in a suit, who told Wade that his disease could be cured, was a liar. Ah, why? Peter was speechless for a moment. He didn't know how to tell such a naive girl the dark side of this society. Let me tell you. Bruce Wayne took the initiative to take on the work of explaining. The video continues. After hearing what the man in the suit said, Wade certainly didn't believe it. He has been in the underworld for so many years. Is it possible that he doesn't know the routine of these guys? The man in the suit didn't force it. He just stuffed a piece of paper into Wade's arms and left. After returning home, Wade saw Vanessa in tears and felt even more upset. After thinking for a long time, he finally called the man in the suit. You made a wise choice, Mr. Wade. Stop talking nonsense. Wade was not drinking now. This was one of the few sober moments in his mind during this period of time. Tell me what the conditions are. We are all in the underworld. Stop talking nonsense. It's very simple. This is a biological experiment. If it succeeds, you can cure cancer and maybe even gain superpowers. Of course, you know the price of failure, which is death. Hearing this, Wade nodded instead. Such words are more credible than various promises. What bullshit is getting superpowers for free? Wade Wilson has lived for so many years and has never heard of such a good thing. And getting superpowers will definitely not let you go, but Wade obviously has no time to choose. He finally owed the contract and got on a car. If that's the case, why does Mr. Wade owe this contract? Janitor already knew that the other party had bad intentions, but she couldn't figure out why Wade owed this contract. She wanted to shout to Wade on the screen to stop, but Wade couldn't hear Janitor's words at all and got into the car with Janitor's worried expression. Janitor, Wade should not have awakened Deadpool's wall-breaking ability yet, so he can't hear us. Peter said to Janitor, but don't worry, this is Deadpool's memory. He not only chatted with us later, but also gained super self-healing power, so you can rest assured that he will not be in trouble. Hearing this, Janitor calmed down. She had read a lot of information before and knew that mortals need to face death, and death is a god of the same level as her father. If she is not the daughter of the Star Devourer, she cannot avoid death from falling on herself. However, Janitor is still wondering if she can prevent mortals from being troubled by diseases. She knows that death is inevitable. If death disappears, the universe will also have big problems. However, perhaps it can make people live more comfortably before they die. The video continues. Wade was taken to a dirty underground laboratory, which seemed to be built in the sewer. Here, the patients, or volunteers, were tied to the beds. There were many volunteers with twisted bodies and strange shapes. Many volunteers were sent out in body bags. As for whether they were cremated in the crematorium, buried in the wild, or sent to the next laboratory to squeeze out the last bit of oil and water that could be squeezed out of them, it was unknown. When they saw this underground laboratory for the first time, several members of the science department frowned at the same time. If they compared this laboratory according to their laboratory regulations, then the other party had basically committed all the crimes that could be committed. And Peter recalled an extremely unpleasant memory. An extremely unpleasant memory in the sewers of New York City. Chapter 543, Good Guys and Bad Guys. The video continues. It's really hygienic here. Even though he was tied to a dirty hospital bed, Wade couldn't stop talking. But soon a black-haired woman with a match in her mouth came over and tied him up tightly with a belt. Wow. Wade was already suffering from cancer, and his weak body felt even more pain, but his mouth still didn't stop. He was still chattering non-stop. You are strong enough. Do you want to play bondage play together? In that case, I have to be on top, otherwise my pelvis will definitely crack. Hey, why are you holding a match in your mouth? Fixing your teeth? Imitating Stallone? Wade's endless nagging annoyed the Dust Angel, but she couldn't punch Wade's dog head right now, because it was precious experimental material. Now there are fewer and fewer volunteers, and they can't openly tie people up. As for importing from foreign countries, let alone the risks, the time and money required are too much, and according to their research, they came to a conclusion that the stronger the desire to survive, the more cooperative the person, the greater the chance of mutation, and the stronger the effect after mutation, of course, the better the price of selling. And the terminally ill patient is the best candidate to meet these two conditions. The most important thing is that he can get it for free. Someone like Wade is the best candidate. The Dust Angel could only cover Wade's mouth and let him be quiet. Just then, Francis, who was wearing a white coat, finally came over and signaled the Dust Angel to let go. Wow. Can I finally join the camp of superheroes? This is so exciting, you know. I know that guy Wolverine is at Francis's signal. The Dust Angel tied his mouth completely with a plastic rope. Look, don't always think about using violence. Francis said, the reason why we humans can become the masters of the world is because our ancestors learned to use tools. Then Francis gave Wade a series of examinations and told him that the essence of this experiment is to create super mutant warriors. Of course, the manufacturing process will be very painful, and he and the Dust Angel are the Transformers. One of them has gained extraordinary nerve reaction speed, and the other has gained extraordinary strength and strong defense. And because of the side effects of the experiment, Francis' pain nerves were burned in the experiment, and he could no longer feel pain. This is indeed a side effect, but Francis has caused a psychological disorder. Then he began to act as an assistant to the original researchers in this laboratory, taking pleasure in abusing the experimental subjects. In the end, because he was perverted enough, he was promoted to a project leader by this perverted organization. It can only be said that perverts can always appreciate each other. Making mutants? Magneto had some similar experiences in the early years, so he subconsciously paid some attention to Deadpool's transformation process. When he heard the words of making super mutant warriors, he couldn't hold it back. Obviously, regardless of whether the mutants were created or not, this obviously inhumane experiment made everyone disgusted. SX Company. Strange recalled a little, yes, that Francis and the entire underground laboratory are all affiliated organizations of SX Company. At least they have some relationship. I took a look at the contract signed by Wade, and the party A on it is SX Company. Although it's not the first time I met you, your powerful memory always shocks me, Doctor. This is not the point. The point is that company. Strange said, in my world, there has never been such a company that has entered my sight, otherwise I would definitely not forget it. Of course, maybe because the world is different, that company should only exist in the world with mutants. So Logan, your world is likely to have such a company. Logan, I know, but where should I start to check? Bruce Wayne, starting from the upper class, the time of your world is the 1960s, the Cold War era, and it is almost the 1970s. Deadpool's time must have entered the 21st century. The Cold War affected a generation. I think even if there is SX Corporation in your world, it may have been established after the Cold War. Everyone is discussing SX Corporation, while janitor focuses on mutants. Mutants? Is it another biological experiment conducted by the guys in the Celestials? Image continues. Wade was pushed onto an operating table. On the operating table, cold needles pierced into Wade's blood vessels. Inside was a mutant's genetic factor. After injecting the genetic factor into Wade's body, it is not over yet. It must be activated by a special method. And the activation method is abuse. And the owner of this mutant's genetic factor is called Wolverine. Everyone was shocked by the degree of perversion of this laboratory, and Magneto was even more angry. As a racist, who believes in mutant supremacy, not to mention that the other party is artificially creating mutants, the fact that the other party has stolen mutant genes alone makes him furious. Logan, I wonder why that lunatic said that. It turns out that his mutant ability comes from my genetic factors. Captain America, is your mutant ability self-healing? Logan, of course. My mutant ability is of course self-healing. Logan, actually, there are also bone claws, but now it seems that the lunatic has only inherited my self-healing ability, and it seems to be even stronger. Strange, it is a miracle that one person's DNA is injected into another person so roughly that he does not die, not to mention that he has inherited the other person's abilities after that. Magneto, do you think that mutants born in this way are still mutants? They are humans, and then they are artificially transformed and gain the power of mutants. What should they belong to? Humans? Mutants? Or are they separately listed as modified people? Logan, why do you think so much? I always think that it is wrong to divide people into different camps by race. I have lived for so many years and have seen all kinds of people. There are good and bad mutants, and there are good and bad humans. I think those who are good to us are our friends, and those who want to harm us are our enemies. It is that simple. Go read the story about Knuckles in Ultra Galaxy. I think I wrote it well. Chapter 544, Dr. Manhattan's book. In the dark laboratory, Deadpool suffered inhumane abuse. But the cruel abuse could not shut up Deadpool's mouth. Soon he became famous in the whole laboratory. Ajax, Francis's alias, even came to deal with him. Beat and kick were just commonplace. He was treated 3 times a day, followed by electric shock, smoke, fire, water, and hanging upside down. Various tortures appeared on Wade in turn. Wade, I really don't know whether you are too strong or too useless. Ajax said to Wade helplessly that day, please, man, no one in my laboratory has ever been able to go through so many experiments without mutation or death. You are the first one who can withstand it with a normal body. Haha. Wade said in a weak voice, do you know why? Because I'm Batman. Okay, Mr. Bat. Ajax waved his hand, and 2 experimenters pushed him into a room with a strange machine. This thing is an oxygen pump. Ajax instructed the experimenter to put Wade into the machine, and told Wade, it will continuously pump out oxygen and monitor your physical condition. When you are about to be suffocated, it will supply you with oxygen. Of course, it won't be a lot, just barely ensuring that you won't die. Okay, man, this is the situation. Hey, where's my aunt now? That little cutie doesn't come to accompany me. Is she having her period? Ajax didn't say anything, but just pushed Wade's head back when he tried to stick it out. Have fun, Wade. By the way, what we produce here are not superheroes, but super mutant slaves. Even if you can awaken superpowers, the final outcome is that you will be brainwashed and sold to the highest bidder. Continuously suffocating people, repeating this way, how can there be such a vicious torture? Moreover, there is still slave trade in the 21st century. Peter felt that his understanding of the bottom line of this world was refreshed again. Not only that, Bruce Wayne said they deliberately left Wade in that room to torture him psychologically. In an empty room, he was alone. Humans are social creatures, and the feeling of loneliness will be infinitely magnified under certain circumstances. What's more, Wade himself has been abused and is threatened with death from cancer. This move can be said to be a murder. Wade was trapped in the oxygen pump and struggled frantically. Under his strong will to survive, the Wolverine genetic factor that was injected into his body finally took effect, but because Wade himself was in the late stage of cancer, his own cancer cells and Wolverine's genetic factors mutated. Wade gained super self-healing ability at the cost of turning himself into a festering mud monster. Of course, it is obvious that this was not his own will. Although his self-healing ability cured his body, he still couldn't break free from it. But Wade was a special forces soldier after all. He pulled out a match from his hand. No one knew when he put the match in his hand, but now, this match would be very useful. While the oxygen pipeline was delivering oxygen, Wade threw the lit match into the oxygen pipeline. Then, with a boom, the entire oxygen chamber exploded. Is it my illusion? Bruce Wayne said, I feel that there is something wrong with this video. Let's not talk about where Wade got the match from. Let's just assume that the various rules and regulations of this laboratory are very imperfect. Wade can get the match, but how did he do it without knowing that his body had mutated? Or even if his body had mutated, how could he be sure that he could survive the flames through his own mutation ability? Captain America, could it be because the other party didn't know the power of the explosion, so he ignited the oxygen tank? Tony Stark, your words are even more untenable. If Deadpool didn't know the power of the oxygen tank explosion, how could he dare to ignite the oxygen tank directly? Or why did he ignite the oxygen tank? Tony Stark, assuming he knew that the explosion of the oxygen tank was powerful enough to blow up the entire oxygen extraction chamber, wouldn't he be afraid of being blown to death? If he didn't know, why did he get the matches? Why did he do this specifically? Wanda, he gave me the feeling that he knew he would definitely not be blown to death. Vision said that he analyzed Wade's macro expressions at the time. He was not afraid, but excited. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, my guess is that he has awakened. Diana Prince, you mean his ability to break the wall? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, yes, that's right. Judging from his previous performance, he has gradually realized some things outside this world, such as the DC universe. Bruce Wayne, you also know the DC universe? What exactly is this DC universe? Jonathan Osterman, Dr. Manhattan, me. I don't know. How can people in comic books recognize themselves in comics? It was the man who beat me up who told me that the multiverse we are in is called the DC universe. Bruce Wayne was dumbfounded. He didn't expect that his casual question would lead to such a big thing. Diana Prince, are you saying that Bruce's and my universe are in the same multiverse as yours? Jonathan Osterman, Dr. Manhattan, yes, our universe is in the same universe, and so is Constantine. If there is a chance, maybe I can go to your world. Constantine, it would be great if you could come to my world to help me cure lung cancer, although God, that old guy, would probably have to fight with you. Jonathan Osterman, Dr. Manhattan, God. Interesting, watch a world. Dr. Manhattan is holding a paper book with his one arm. A collection of random talks author, Superman AZ. The cover of the book says, this book is just a collection of some crazy words of some guys who are weak in combat power. If you believe them, you are weak in the brain. And the page that Dr. Manhattan turned to with one hand is, which one is stronger? Got, the ceiling of the DC universe, or OAA, the ceiling of the Marvel universe. Author, Anonymous. Chapter 545, The Name of Deadpool. The horrible explosion swept the entire oxygen pumping room, and then the walls, which were not very strong to begin with, were blown apart, and the flames burned in all directions. But this kind of thing seemed to be commonplace for Francis. He led several men holding fire extinguishers, and carried out firefighting operations. Wade rushed towards Francis with a steel pipe in his hand. Seeing this, Francis took out an axe from his back, and fought with Wade. It was obvious that Francis was no match for the crazy Wade. Wade had too much advantage in this battle. The Wolverine genetic factor gave him a self-healing ability that was not inferior to Wolverine. In other words, this was a guy who had opened a similar bloodlock. Since the bloodlock has been opened, why should he be afraid of attacks? But Francis didn't dare. His nerve reaction speed was only enhanced to the Superman version. His self-healing ability was at best the level of Captain America. He didn't dare to exchange knives with Wade. In this situation, Francis was beaten back step by step and finally kicked to the ground by Wade. Seeing that he was about to be stabbed to death on the spot, Francis said to Wade, "Listen Wade, I'm the only one who can cure your broken face. If you kill me, you will be prepared to live with your muddy face for the rest of your life." Wade hesitated. Except for a few people like the author, other people generally think that this face is ugly. Even the author can only accept the movie version of Deadpool. The author can't easily accept the festering face of the comic version of Deadpool. Seeing Wade hesitate, Francis punched Wade in the chest with a straight punch, grabbed the steel pipe with his backhand, and stuck Wade into the ground so that he couldn't move. "Goodbye, idiot." Francis limped out of the laboratory. Wade relied on his immortal body to survive the fire. After escaping, he knocked down a few thugs in an alley and took a set of clothes from them. Then, after following his girlfriend for a long time, he gave up going up to her to recognize her because everyone on the road was looking at him as if he were a monster. Wade didn't want to scare Vanessa. Old Palpatine. Wow. Oh. Palpatine pulled out a stormtrooper gun from under the counter and pointed it at Wade. "I don't know what you are, but get out of my bar before I call Godfather Schiller next door and have him come over to save you." Old Palpatine, you idiot. It's me, Wade. Has your brain finally been turned into SpongeBob by the Force? Wade? Palpatine said in disbelief. Oh my god, you look like a mud monster crawling out of the mud hell of Ba-89 hells. Where have you been? The Serpentine reincarnation pool. I participated in a damn experiment. They cured my cancer and turned my handsome face into this. I'm a monster from the inside out. I should go to a damn circus and act with Durban. They must need a villain like me in their play to replace Mr. Big Bad Wolf. Wade, I don't think Vanessa should care about your appearance. Probably. Then what do you think I look like now? Point, it's probably the moldy and rotten child of an avocado and another older, uglier avocado, and the process must not be gentle at all. There must be something wrong with the relationship between the two avocados, and your face must be the only thing they excrete that is not resolved violently. I think I have to do something to fix my face. I think so too. Find that British bastard who runs the factory, / make a thriller. What the hell? Make a personal thriller, or star in the 8th movie of A Nightmare on Elm Street. I think Freddy must want you to be his double. Enough. I have to find that bastard Francis now, and let him heal my face, and then shoot him with a bullet. After shooting him, I will use the hole in his head to vent my asterisk. Okay man, then you need a superhero suit and a loud code name. Palpatine said, let me think. Mr. Devil, Mr. Avocado, Map of Utor. Shit. Palpatine cursed. I forgot that I bet all my money on you. What? It's the death pool. I just realized that there's no way I can win. Although I can make more money by letting those stupid idiots under me find an asteroid to mine. But Wade didn't listen to the other party's complaints, but had an idea. Great, I'll call myself that. What? Is it the Map of Utor or a rotten avocado? Captain Deadpool, isn't that Deadpool? Great, cheers to Deadpool. Well, this guy's unlucky enough. Tony commented, although I still think Mr. Avocado is more suitable for his appearance. The reason why Deadpool became like this should be a combination of genetic factors and cancer cells in his body. Bruce Wayne said, this is my guess. I'm not sure how strong Wolverine's original self-healing ability is, but the other party's manufacturing method is obviously extremely rough. I even doubt whether these guys are simply killing people. I don't know the characteristics of mutant genetic factors. Maybe they are really strong. And there is another question. Where did the other party's mutant genetic factors come from? Logan, that was decades later. God knows what happened in the past few decades that made my genetic factors fall into the hands of these bastards. Let me say first, there is nothing wrong with my face. Magneto, yes, that's true. Bruce Wayne, that should be the combination of Wolverine's genetic factors, which originally had super self-healing ability, and cancer cells that can divide indefinitely, which caused a disease. This mutation gave Deadpool a self-healing ability far beyond that of the mother body, Wolverine, but the price was that the skin on his face was completely ulcerated. Logan, the mother body is too ugly. Bruce Wayne, sorry, but my guess is that Deadpool's ulcers are probably more than just this one. Magneto, what do you mean? Strange, the cancer cells are spreading all over. This is no small matter. Wade's skin ulcers are, because the cancer cells and genetic factors that spread to the skin have changed. So what about other places in his body? Chapter 546. Who am I? I'm Deadpool. Wanda, I think I understand what you mean. Wanda, I got goosebumps all over my body after thinking about it for a while. In the theater, it is inevitable that some people feel sympathy for Deadpool's experience. Not only is he disfigured, but he has also gone crazy. This is indeed a bit pitiful. Video, link continues. Oh, hi, wait. Deadpool took out his mobile phone and clicked on an app with white text and a red background, then opened a book. He quickly read a few chapters and gave the book a Gold Alliance reward. Then he opened a blue software and saw the chapters that had not yet been published. By the way, he selected a few lucky comments and deleted them. Finally, he said to the screen, "Oh, that's it. I understand." "What do you understand?" "Yes, that's it." Deadpool hammered his palm and said, "I'm Deadpool. Logan, are you sick? Listen, old Logan, I would be very happy if you had medicine to cure my face, but you don't." Deadpool talked to Logan directly through the air. "That bastard Francis is probably lying to me." "Strange, he is very likely lying to you. Your skin mutation comes from the combination of cancer cells in your body and Wolverine's genetic factors. Now the cancer cells in your body have combined with your genetic factors. The good news is that at least you don't have to die. The bad news is that, because of the spread of cancer cells, the cells in your body have undergone unpredictable changes." "Stop it, Doctor," Deadpool said to Strange. "I won't pay you for the consultation, because I'm a pauper. Although theoretically I could go to the Oscar statuette and knock off a piece of it to sell as gold, but that guy seems to have every piece of gold in his body. Oh, my holy mother chicken roll. Look at this little guy, how cute, just like." Looking at the Deadpool talking nonsense on the screen, everyone gave up the idea of communicating with him normally. "Okay, the guy who claims to have 3,000 plans, help me think of a foolproof plan, so that I can chop off Francis's head." Deadpool suddenly jumped onto the bed, squatted like Spider-Man, and said to the screen, 3,000 plans. "Yes, I'm talking about you." Bruce Wayne smacked his lips and said, "There is no foolproof plan in this world." "No, there is. As long as it's your plan, it must be foolproof." Bruce Wayne, "Why?" "Because you are Batman." Thanos, wait a minute. What timeline are you in now? Hey, Purple Potato Spirit, I know what you're thinking. The timeline now is half a year ago. Tony Stark, wait a minute, your conversation is a bit too jumpy, I can't react. Thanos, I mean, the last time we saw this guy, he was casting a spell, and then he showed us a memory through a mess of operations. We used inertial thinking to think that this was played in the theater, but it wasn't. This should be the memory he cast for us to watch. Bruce Wayne, a normal person's memories can't be from a third-person perspective and come with all kinds of background music. Sorry, it's my negligence. Oh, yes, great. Deadpool clapped his hands happily. I actually made Batman lose. But the Purple Potato Spirit is right. The current Deadpool is the awakened Deadpool. That's me, Deadpool. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. It seems that Deadpool's ability to break walls and a series of unreasonable abilities were awakened at the moment he became Deadpool. Look at his back. Everyone looked behind Deadpool, and they found that the background color behind him was different from before. Bruce Wayne was the first to notice something was wrong. The bartender named Palpatine. Deadpool has undergone such a big change, but Palpatine didn't move at all. In addition to the fact that he is used to it, there is a second situation. Deadpool paused the time of that world. That's right. This is the power of the most benevolent, kind, supreme and powerful Deadpool. Celebrate. From this moment on, Deadpool, who has connected the power of Marvel and DC, has unlimited wall-breaking authority, and can combine endless and diverse funny powers in one, is born. This is my domain, the domain of the inner little black room. Peter Parker, although I don't understand, it seems very powerful. Peter, the ultimate version of you also has such power. Peter Parker, huh. This is a domain. In the small dark room in my heart, only I can move. Deadpool turned his head to look at the bartender. The bartender drank a glass of wine with a normal expression. He didn't see Deadpool's crazy look before. Deadpool stood up and left here directly, leaving Palpatine with a confused face. Then, he remembered a question. Asshole, you haven't paid yet. Bruce Wayne, where are you going now? According to the original timeline, it will take me half a year to track down Francis, but now I can speed up this speed a little. However, I have more important things to do now. Wanda, what is it? Of course, it's to get me a battlesuit. How can you be called a superhero without a superhero battlesuit? Wanda, no way, what you call important things is this? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. No, this is also part of Awakening. The key to his awakening is to become Deadpool. Gaining superpowers is the beginning of Awakening. At that time, he had already gained some wall-breaking abilities, but they had not yet been fully demonstrated. He could only subconsciously say some incomprehensible words from his mouth, and then he got the name of Deadpool. That is, he got the title of Deadpool in the tavern, and finally, he made that battlesuit. That's right. Thank you, Blue Eagle. Deadpool shuttled through the road, constantly saying something to the air, which made people who had kept their distance from Deadpool because of his appearance dare not approach him. Although I don't know why I call you Blue Eagle, my intuition will definitely not be wrong. Once I get my battlesuit, everything will be clear. By the way, what does my battlesuit look like? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 547, Deadpool's Departure Time. I saw everything. Tony Stark, wake up. There is no Mind Stone on your forehead. Stop cosplaying as Infinite Ultron. I'm not that rubbish robot. Ahaha, sorry, I forgot. That rubbish robot was created by you. Deadpool's words made Tony's face darken. Infinite Ultron was almost a huge stain in his life. Okay, according to my information, Francis the Bastard will appear from here today. I will go down and shoot him in the head and then cut off this guy's head and use it as a weapon. Wanda, you are too disgusting. Disgusting? Deadpool took off his mask suddenly and took a close-up of his face to the screen. Then look at my handsome face for a few more times, so you won't feel disgusted. That's enough. Take it off quickly. Turn it off. Turn it off. You must turn it off. Look, they're coming. Deadpool pointed to a car driving on the road and said, this time, I must make his head into my chamber pot. After that, Deadpool took out a cannon from his pocket, although he didn't know what it was, but it was a super killer. Peter Parker, wait a minute. You don't want to fire here. What else? Peter Parker, this is a bridge. There are ordinary people on the bridge. What do they have to do with me? Peter Parker, of course they are related. There must be ordinary people among them. They can't survive under such an attack. I have tolerated you killing people for revenge for a long time, and now you want to kill innocent people for revenge. Peter Parker, Wade, I believe you must still have kindness in your heart. Just think about it. There might be a father in these cars, and his daughter is still waiting for him to come home, waiting for him to bring gifts home, and then take her to the zoo. Peter Parker, or a couple, just like you and Vanessa. They are all ready to get married. Are you going to break them up with your own hands? Deadpool stuffed the super cool looking weapon in his hand back into the flower and said, okay, you win. For your sake as Marvel's #1 brother, I admit defeat. Oh my god, this really hurts, and it feels a little bit good. Peter Parker, I knew you wouldn't let me down, Wade. Although we haven't known each other for too long, I think we might be good friends. Of course. Look, my underwear is covered with spider webs. Oh my god. Damn it. Put on your pants. Now and now. You pervert. Bruce Wayne, actually, I said it a long time ago that maybe you should send them to the judicial department and let the law punish him. Your random killing now will only cause greater damage. If I remember correctly, in that world the relationship between you mutants and humans is not good. A mutant killing people at will on the street and causing huge damage will only make the rift between the two sides, who were originally incompatible, grow bigger and bigger. Oh. Wade asked, picking his crotch. So, I send these bastards to that shitty judicial department and let them stay in prison for a few years before they come out to wreak havoc on the world. Listen, rich man who plays police games at home, we poor people don't have your money to buy a city, to play detective games and police games. These bastards are a nuisance when they are alive. Killing them directly is the best choice. Now, it's time for Deadpool to go out. Deadpool jumped, the bat wings behind him opened, and then pressed a button on his arm, and his whole body turned transparent. Aha, the invisibility cloak is really fun. Deadpool shouted and followed Francis' car, following him all the way to a warehouse. Hey, listen. Just as Deadpool was about to sneak over and chop off Francis' dog head with a knife, a third-party force appeared. We are the X-Men. You are now under arrest for suspected human experiments and mutant trafficking. Before the leader could finish his words, Francis's group started firing wildly. Seeing this, the leader transformed himself, and his body instantly turned into a reflective alloy. The bullets hit Colossus' body, and could only rely on kinetic energy to barely stop his movements without causing any damage to his body. Interesting. Tony said, I'm a little curious about what kind of alloy this big guy's body is made of now. It's amazing that a person's body can be transformed from flesh and blood into alloy, and he can also move like an ordinary person. Now he has shown extremely strong defense. The power of the machine gun on the car is enough to easily penetrate a 10mm steel plate, but there is not even a bullet mark left on him. Although my iron suit also has this kind of defense, but let me tell you why. Deadpool turned his head suddenly and said, the fourth law of the Marvel Universe, hand combat is the strongest. The fifth law of the Marvel Universe, bullets and guns are just decorations. What a painful law. Colossus was hit by bullets and couldn't open his eyes. The Dust Angel took the opportunity to rush and knocked him down. He rode on Colossus' body and beat him up. Colossus was beaten so hard that he couldn't fight back. Aha, gentlemanly manners. Deadpool took out a bag of popcorn from somewhere and commented on the battle while eating popcorn. Oh wow. Look, it's the tomboy. She's using her superpowers. Great. She blew up a car. Oh my god. Isn't this our teacher Logan? Look at the steel claws that popped out of his hands. It must be painful. Logan, my bone claws do hurt every time they pop out, but I've gotten used to it. But why did my bone claws turn into steel claws? Then we have to talk about a biological experiment. No, we can't say that. This should be the prelude to the birth of the superhero Wolverine. The old man Stricker injected the original liquid of adamantium into. Look, there's even Iceman. Great, so exciting. I didn't expect to see so many X-Men. Hey, Logan, give me an autograph. Oh, alright. Your dear Deadpool is going to go out. I didn't expect Deadpool to update 3 times today. Let me tell you quietly, someone has moved the authors backstage. Guess who it could be? Chapter 548, Deadpool, disconnected. 100,000 bad jokes too, now on air. Thank you, because of you, the 4 seasons are warm. Deadpool played this song, drew his 2 swords, and entered the battlefield. Francis turned his head and saw an unknown creature in a red tights, braving the hail of bullets and running towards him recklessly. If he ignored the 2 knives in his hand, Francis might have been moved. But now it seems that this guy's going to kill him. Who is that? I don't know. Iceman used his ice control ability, which was like throwing all kinds of scientific theories on the ground, to freeze the opponent's guns and said, maybe it's a mutant who wants to be a hero. Then we have to recruit this kid into the X Academy. Colossus said worriedly, we can't let him go astray. Seeing this, Wolverine silently lit a cigar for himself. It seems that he doesn't need to do it himself. Wait. Don't kill anyone. Deadpool moved very quickly. After knocking down a group of minions, he quickly found his target, Francis. He stepped on Francis' chest with one foot and pointed a pistol at Francis' head. "Can you tell me your name? What's your father's name?" Colossus was stunned, thinking that this was a special custom, such as both parties had to tell each other's father's name before getting to know each other. "My father's name is, because I don't know what it is, let's ignore it." "Great," Deadpool said to Colossus. "My name is also this." Colossus nodded and suddenly felt that something was wrong. Deadpool turned his head to look at the screen, and the flow of time around him was instantly paused. "Do you know? When we first met last time, I played him like this. Strange. Wait a minute, I'm a little dizzy. Did you travel to the past, or did you restart a timeline?" "God knows," Deadpool said indifferently. "Anyway, nothing is impossible in front of the great Deadpool. If those guys from the Time Management Bureau were in my world, they would definitely invite me to their place and treat me to salad for the rest of my life. Loki Odinson, that's a nightmare. Yeah, it's too scary to only be able to eat salad for the rest of my life. Loki Odinson, does your focus have to be so weird?" Exclamation mark. Deadpool turned his head back and looked at Colossus, who was coming over. He paused deliberately and waited for him to say something. Sure enough, Colossus began to preach to Deadpool. "Listen, kid, I don't know what grudges you have with him, but you can only become a superhero if you let go of hatred and let your opponent go." Deadpool looked touched, took his foot off Francis' chest, pulled Francis up, and then kindly helped him knock off the dust on his chest. "That's right." Then Deadpool chopped off with a knife, and Francis' head moved and came into close contact with the ground. "Ugh. X2, what are you doing?" Logan didn't feel anything, just smoking a cigar and watching the show quietly, but Iceman and Colossus couldn't accept it, especially when Deadpool chopped off the other's head with a knife and poked two fingers into the other's eye socket to pick up his head. Dada. Deadpool took off his head mask suddenly, and the face that looked like a group of worms wriggling in 20th and laying eggs all over the ground, and finally all these eggs rotted somewhere, brought a great mental shock to the three people. "See? This bastard messed up my face like this," Deadpool said angrily. "I have wanted to tell you this for a long time, Mr. Holy Father. You think you can forgive him? That's because you haven't had the same experience as me. And this guy is a lunatic. Do you know how many people he killed and how many slaves he sold? He doesn't even know it himself. If being a so-called superhero means that you have to let this kind of dangerous guy continue to live and cause trouble to the world, then fuck the bullshit superhero. I won't do it. Okay, but please come with me. If you kill them now, you will definitely be in big trouble. Aha, thank you for your concern. Miss, Huabulaji. If you don't miss, I won't be Laji." Deadpool chanted a spell, and 4 ninjas in black clothes emerged from the shadows. "Holy Lord, this is too outrageous. Is there a Shadow Kingdom in that world?" Exclamation mark. "Thanos, calm down. I'm numb to what this guy can come up with. Tony Stark, yeah, this guy even took out my nanocore, and I haven't figured that thing out yet." Deadpool was dragged into the shadows by 4 ninjas, and finally he said to Colossus, "Mr. Holy Father, say hello to Zune for me." The shadows sent Deadpool to an open space and then took out a quarter code. Deadpool took out the author's mobile phone to scan the code to pay, and then returned the phone to the author in front of the screen. Suddenly, Deadpool looked sad. "Goodbye, friends." "Peter Parker, what's wrong, Mr. Wade?" "That bastard decided to end my chapter. The reason is that I spent his lunch money. This bastard obviously didn't eat dinner to lose weight. Why can't he also skip lunch? I want to take revenge on him. Take revenge on him severely. Steal his toilet paper while he is in the bathroom." "Peter Parker, although I don't know what you are talking about, it is not good to spend other people's money to do your own business, and stealing toilet paper while someone is in the bathroom is a bit too much. Anyway, it's time to say goodbye." Deadpool took out a handkerchief and blew his nose through the mask, then stuffed the handkerchief into the mask to wipe it, and asked, "Cinema, we are also acquainted. Why don't we?" Deadpool, disconnect the link. Play 100,000 bad jokes to in 10 minutes. Why is it disconnected? What did Wade say in the end? Deadpool's world. Deadpool looked at the disconnected screen link and angrily slammed Francis' head to the ground and kicked him hard and lifted him up to an unknown place. Fuck you. Deadpool put his hand in his four-dimensional crotch and fumbled around for a while. With the sound effects of Doraemon's props, he took out a strange gun. You ask me why there is a sound effect? Deadpool said quietly. I'll tell you. Because I installed a button in my crotch. As long as you move it, there will be a sound. Okay, now, it's Deadpool's adventure time. Deadpool pressed the trigger, and the strange gun shot out a green portal. The last word, remember to vote for the author. Smelu Smelu. Chapter 549, 100,000 Bad Jokes 2, The Orphanage that seems to be written as the starting point. After discussing for a long time, they still didn't figure out what the 100,000 bad jokes were, and there was a 2. I suddenly miss Deadpool a little bit. Peter said, if he were here, he would definitely be able to help us solve this problem. Loki Odinson, I think it's because of this guy that the whole screening room is abnormal. Wanda, I suddenly have an ominous premonition 100,000 bad jokes won't mean listening to Deadpool really telling 100,000 bad jokes there. Loki Odinson, don't say such terrible words casually. Something unfortunate will happen. In the screening room, the river god stared at the screen, as if waiting for something. River god, you seem to know something? I don't know. Then why did you suddenly get up and stare at the screen? I always feel that the next thing may involve me. 100,000 bad jokes to start. In a river, the bottom of the river is full of various treasures. Like an axe bigger than a person, a pen spinner, and they are all gold and silver versions. River god, great. It's my home. Wanda, this is your home. River god, yes, as a river god, isn't it natural for me to live in the river? Peter Parker, the river, the Ganges, the Tay River. Gandalf, so, there are gods like this. Loki Odinson, what god? Is this kind of stuff worthy of being called a god in front of me? The god of tricks? Tony Stark, I don't know who it was that scared people silly after the last time the real evil god appeared. Holy Lord, the ruler of darkness is worthy of being called an evil god. You rubbish should shut up. Loki Odinson, oh, yes, a demon like the Kariloid. Holy Lord, haha. The video continues. The river god took out a mobile phone, dialed a number, and made a call. Hello, is this Lady Nuwa? It's the river god. What's up? Lady Nuwa, I have good news, bad news, and a piece of news that's neither good nor bad. Which one do you want to hear first? Lady Nuwa on the other side was obviously trying to hold back her anger. She gritted her teeth and said, I don't want to hear any of them. Since you're so honest, I'll tell you all 3 pieces of news. With Nuwa taking a deep breath, the river god began his story. The good news is that I'm so bored right now. I seem to be on a business trip. What kind of good news is this? Lady Nuwa couldn't stand it anymore and roared at the phone. What kind of good news is this? Lady Nuwa, are you applying a facial mask? What's it got to do with you? The bad news is that if you get angry while applying a facial mask, you'll get wrinkles. With the sound of a phone being thrown, Nuwa ended the call. Oh, Lady Nuwa still has such a bad temper. The river god had a headache on his face. If my employee reported the news to me like this, I would have fired him long ago. Tony looked at the river god speechlessly and asked, do you usually report your work to Lady Nuwa like this? Almost. You must have been fired because she couldn't fire you. Wow. There seem to be little stars in the tusslets of the river god's eyes. You are so amazing. Lady Nuwa has said more than once that she wants to fire me. Janitor looked at the river god and suddenly asked curiously, what do you think my dad's people usually report to my dad about their work? Anyway, it can't be like this. There are not many bosses in this world who can fire people and can tolerate having such employees under them. Janitor keenly grasped a point. What is the other good news? Bruce Wayne rubbed his temples. He had seen Deadpool so much that his brain was not active. He didn't even notice such a basic thing. Bruce Wayne felt a headache when he thought of Deadpool's polluting voice and his mentally polluting words. In the Batcave, Superman felt his brain was in a mess. He couldn't help asking, are the things we see on this screen real? Aren't we really watching a talk show? The last video I saw was quite normal. It was a story about a group of warriors named Ultraman fighting off darkness. I don't know what happened. This time, the theater started playing these messed up things like crazy. The video continues. The river god looked at the phone with a helpless look on his face. The news that's neither good nor bad hasn't been told yet. I'd better leave him a message. Well, should I send it to VX? Or to Penguin? Just then, a scream rang out. Ah, my axe. Come to work. On the other side, a spaceship landed on a planet with severe desertification. A young man carrying a bag came down from the spaceship. He just said, "My lovely hometown." Before he could finish the second half of the sentence, "I'm finally back," someone pointed a laser gun at his head. Bruce Wayne saw this and immediately felt a familiar style. It's the taste of Gotham City. Pay back the money. The leader, the yellow-haired man with a gun, pointed the gun at little King Kong's head and said, "Pay back the money. You liar, the things you sold me are useless." How is that possible? I don't sell fakes. What's the use of 7 one-star people? As a human being, the most important thing is to be happy. Little King Kong made a French military posture with his hands and said, "You have to change your mindset. If you don't make a wish, then the remaining 6 people in the universe may not make a wish." Make a wish? 7 one-star people. What one-star people? Everyone felt that this universe was not normal, but when they looked at the river god and thought about the previous Deadpool, and connected with the crazy diversity of the previous title, everyone seemed to be relieved again. Just think of it as watching cartoons and talk shows. Zyojin Gang was just caught, and another group of people came to Zyojin Gang to ask for a refund because the genie in the magic lamp he sold was defective. It is true that a genie can be made, but it is hard to say whether it is a genie or a blue genie. Zyojin Gang blew a gust of cold wind and lit a ghost fire, and the two groups of people successfully fought each other. He also took the opportunity to escape. After a while of tumbling, Zyojin Gang came to an orphanage. On the sign of the orphanage, one could vaguely see a word and a word. So annoying. I have finished writing Ultra Galaxy, and then it is Tigger. Chapter 550, Zyojin and Zyojin Gang, the figure holding Thor's hammer. Wonder, how did he get in? By climbing over the wall. Logan, I suddenly have a bad feeling. Peter Parker, he's not going to steal from the orphanage. Stealing is wrong, and stealing from an orphanage is simply unscrupulous. In addition, everyone's impression of Little King Kong was not very good, and this time it was even worse. Little King Kong came to the dean's office with ease, and opened the door of the safe with ease, and then the light shone on the face of an old man in a tattered Zungshan suit. I knew it was you, when the money became more. Little King Kong. Little King Kong seemed to be accustomed to the dean's behavior. After a brief panic, he threw the bag of money into the safe with an expressionless face, then pushed the door of the safe hard, and locked the dean in the safe. Smelly boy, let me out. After a struggle, the old man got out of the safe. Just after going out, the old man preached to Zyojin Gang, "You little bastard. I worked so hard to raise you, and you do this. You keep stealing things, and don't say you came from the grassland welfare home in the future. What's the use of you telling me?" Zyojin Gang said nonchalantly, "I'm called a chivalrous thief. Robbing the rich to help the poor. Do you understand? What chivalrous thief? What robbing the rich to help the poor?" The old man kicked Zyojin Gang to the ground, picked up his crutch, and waved it to beat him. A thief is a thief. What's the chivalrous thief? What's the thief's code of conduct? Bullshit. Stealing, cheating, and deceiving are wrong. Take the money back. Facing the old man's accusations, Zyojin Gang said nonchalantly, "Don't you know what the situation is in this world? It was the gods who made this world into such a chaotic state, not me. What's the use of you telling me? Go and scold them." Hearing Zyojin Gang's words, the old man's tone softened. "Can't you find a proper job like other people? I have someone at the shipyard, and I can introduce you to a lighter job. I'm sick. I'm helping those gods build ships for war. They've been fighting for tens of thousands of years. Still fighting. I hate the gods the most. They fight over a disagreement, and never consider the feelings of us mortals." Little King Kong's words revealed this world from another perspective. The people in the screening room gradually realized that this world might not be as joyful as the previous communication between the river god and Nua. Loki Odinson, gods, ships for war. Loki thought of some war airships he had seen in the history books of Asgard. Those things have now been stopped from production and have become exhibits in museums. Loki could see at a glance the complexity of the production of such things and the manpower required. Even mortals need to join the shipyard of the gods, work for the gods, and help the gods build war weapons. The war situation in that world can be seen. Loki Odinson, the relationship between the gods in that world doesn't seem to be harmonious. Bruce Wayne, will your battle affect mortals? Loki Odinson, of course not. The 9 realms have been suppressed by Asgard for a long time. The biggest turmoil was the previous one. Even mortals were involved in the battle. I have never thought about the cruelty and duration of this war. Loki Odinson, if I'm not mistaken, there may be mortals in the fleet of the gods. Loki Odinson, the gods are high above, using all living beings as chess pieces and the world as chessboard to fight for territory. Such a war is really interesting. Holy Lord, the strength of the gods in that world should not be strong. I'm afraid they are not as good as Loki, the false god. Loki Odinson, what did you say? Yukari Lloyd. Holy Lord, shut up. Zoga. Holy Lord, we don't know the combat system of that world yet, but at present, they still need things like warships, unless the power of the warships is too strong. Otherwise, it means that the strength of the gods in this world is too weak, and they can't even cross the galaxy in their physical bodies. According to the performance of the river god, I think it is the second one. Demon Hell. The Holy Lord and his staff team, Zulan, Zimu and Xiao Feng are constantly discussing. The sparks of their thoughts are colliding, and the wisdom that has been deprived is gradually recovering. Of course, as of now, it will take a long time. This reward card of the Holy Lord is really good. I feel that my brain is getting more and more flexible. Xiao Feng conveyed his feelings to the other 3 demons through the mind chain. Zimu's voice was transmitted in the hearts of the other 3 demons through the mind chain. Yes, the day when our 4 demons return to the Earth world is just around the corner. And there is another world waiting for us to develop. The Holy Lord's eyes flashed with a cunning red light. Yes, the 4 demons. Zulan looked at Dicky, revealing a trace of desire in his eyes. When the power of the moon and the power of the earth are combined, a qualitative change should occur. Image continues in the corridor of a shabby civilian hospital. A blue-haired girl lies on a hospital bed, staring at the ceiling with lifeless eyes. King. Xiaojin Gang. When the blue-haired girl heard Xiaojin Gang's voice, her lifeless eyes quickly focused and regained the agility that a girl should have. King, did you listen to the dean when I was away? No. Great. Looking at the boy and girl, the old man was even more furious. You two are really a perfect match made in heaven, and you are exactly the same when you get angry. Hearing this, the 2 laughed even more happily. Where's the gift? Faced with King's words, Xiaojin Gang deliberately asked, is anyone having a birthday? Come on, you can bear to come back if I don't have a birthday. Xiaojin Gang sighed and dropped a bone tooth necklace from his hand. Just when Xiaojin Gang was celebrating King's birthday, a figure wearing a red cloak and holding a square hammer appeared nearby. When the Tulokis in the Avengers building and the Asgard prison saw that figure, their hearts trembled. They instinctively felt that the hammer was Thor's hammer. As for why, they couldn't explain it. Avengers building. That is Thor. Loki, what are you talking about? Loki rolled his eyes and said to Thor, did you see that hammer? That should be you in that world. The god of thunder in another world. Thor became interested after hearing that. You'd better pray that it's not true. Loki sneered and said, that river god and the whole world are a little bit unserious. Maybe you in that world are also an alligator. Loki, what are you talking about? Thor waved his hand and said, that me is obviously holding the hammer with my hands. How can an alligator have hands? The me in the other world must be a tall and handsome male god like me. Today's day passed. I wanted to squat in the morning. I just took off my pants and squatted down. The group shouted to go to the nucleic acid test. I cursed and pulled up my pants and left. I thought it was the climax, but it turned out to be the beginning of my sadness today. The girl I like was chatting happily with a boy, and I didn't even have the qualifications to get close to her. I listened to them chatting for 2 classes in the most inconspicuous way. I had planned to type, but I didn't even touch the keyboard. Half a morning was wasted. For lunch, I went to the cafeteria, but there was nothing left. I bought a bag of compressed biscuits and came back. I was browsing a forum just now, and a guy in the forum, the girl he had been pursuing for 3 years, slept with a guy he had been chatting with for 3 days. I was so shocked. I hope nothing bad will happen tonight. Guan bless you, Guanman. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.